there's a place that I've dreamed of, where I can free my mind. I hear the sounds of the season and lose all sense of time. Feels like we're in a dream, you know what I mean.
Right there, Camp McIntosh.
Yes, it is Mike, Camp McIntosh, and it is another episode of CFN Live. Lucky to be here. I'm sure all of you are feeling the exact same way. Another day and another memory. We will say that. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic weekend. Busy. I'm sure everybody was. Great weekend for weather for most of the country anyway, so hopefully people got out fishing. But before we move on, obviously we are looking to fill up Camp McIntosh. Tracy is awaiting your call. Right now we are about half full. So as I said, if you are interested, it is September 23rd to the 27th. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you. We'd love to share some memories with you up at Camp McIntosh. And just so you know, for those who are a little apprehensive about shared accommodations, we have the ability because there are cabins available. So in order to find out, you got to call. So make sure you call Tracy. There's the number. The email is there as well as the website if you want to go on the website. But we'd love to have you. And with that, it marks the beginning. It's really important to mention that it is becoming the season of Stella. It is Stella season again. And for all those who are going to Horwood Lake Lodge, which is completely full and happening in a couple weeks, and to all those who are participating in the CFN Fish Off, which we'll get to, and Camp McIntosh. There are 3 Stellas that have arrived. They actually arrived last week, and they are ready for our community, and one lucky winner is going to be taking that home from either Horwood Lake Lodge, Camp McIntosh, or the CFN Fish Off. But August 1st is the official start of Stella season, and we'll be handing a Stella to either a Stella Stud or a Stella Queen, depending on how they manage in the various fish offs that we host. We do one at Horwood. We also do one at Camp Mac, and of course, you know, the CFN Fish Off, so I don't need to mention that. As you can tell, I do have a new mic system, which just happened to turn off, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm not sure how to get this darn thing to work. I had it working on the weekend. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I had it working on the weekend, but I haven't, for the life of me, figured out how to get this darn thing to work. But anyway, it's cool when it does. It actually makes me sound like a talk show host. Although that wasn't exactly what I was going for. I just wanted to have a little bit crisper sound for all you folks who, you know, hate getting talked to for 2 hours. You like to have a little bit of a muffled sound, a little bit of a enhanced richness in terms of the sound you're listening to. But yeah, like right now, if that window were open, I'd be throwing that out the window, because all it does is it just blinks. That's all it does. So it's a bit of a light show. It's a wonderful thing. Absolutely. Technology's great, isn't it? Gotta love it. Tony's in the house. How you doing, Tony? I also want to let you know, I spoke to Randy on Friday. I think it was Friday. We are going to make arrangements. I think I already texted you. I'm going to be picking up your bump board this week, so stay tuned to that. Shane, how you doing, pal? I am back from West. Oh, I did see your sheep's head, by the way. I don't know. Again, I've been so out of the loop. The editing team, my Elite 3, I'm not sure if they picked it up for you or not today. I didn't get a chance to get over to the Facebook page that is our community, but if Steve saw it, I'm sure he got it up. But if not, I will certainly work on that. Nice to have you along, Steve, and as always, holding down the fort. It was a busy weekend for myself, which I'll get to in a second. Bruce, nice to have you along, dude. He's here for a few minutes. I can only imagine. You're getting ready to make the big move to Saskatchewan, where our good buddy Lloyd is, and a few other CFNers. How you doing, Lloyd? Nice to have you along. There's TLC. How's TLC doing? That was quite a pike you caught, girl. You keep up the good work. Love the stuff. Steve, how you doing, buddy? I believe it was a busy weekend for you with Peter Larman and the youth group. We'll be talking about that with Big Jim. Adrian's here. How you doing, Adrian? Nice to have you a part of the show. Rick's in the house. Grandpa's Tackle Box is here. Holy smokes, we got lots of you folks. Trisha, nice to have you along as well. Okay, so many people. Advanced Taxidermy's in the house. Nice to have you along. Keith, beautiful. Dude, again, I want to thank, because this is a cool part. And I know Richard is doing a fantastic job promoting the heck out of the sale of the hoodies, the jerseys, and everything else. I know Walter's working very, very hard behind the scenes, too, to get our jersey. This was last year's. We have a new one that's come out that Walter's been working very, very hard. He's on night, so if you can't get a hold of him, it's probably because he's sleeping. He's got that last off shift before the big R, the big retirement. So we're looking forward for him to retire so he can enjoy. But in the meantime, I wanted to mention, when you see the CFN swag show up in pictures, in your timeline, in your news feed, it's always awesome to see. We had an angler up at Long Lac that was participating in the Long Lac Walleye Masters tournament that had on a CFN jersey. For the life of me, I didn't get his name, but a big shout out to him, because as I said, Long Lac is from here. I think it's closer from Saskatchewan than it is from where I live. I'm pretty sure you can get to Long Lac a lot quicker if you were to drive from Saskatchewan than if you were to drive from Toronto. But awesome to see our CFN swag on full display. Really appreciate that. Gary's in the house. Fantastic. I hope everyone's doing well. Well, you know what, Gary? Never as good as you, but we keep trying. We'll just cycle through, make sure I haven't missed anything of importance. Steve's yeah. Oh, we did get it up. Fantastic. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'll make sure to put a comment on that, because that was quite the sheep's head. I need CFN stickers. I know a guy, and we will be working on that, Rick. I was hoping to have some for the Chihuahua event. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out, but it is what it is. We will make sure, Rick, we're going nowhere, so we'll make sure, Rick, I personally deliver you a CFN sticker. But yeah, still too busy making tackle. Well, you know what? It's not a terrible problem. I'm good living the dream in the north. Yes, you are. TLC is living the dream. All right. So you know what I was busy doing? I had the pleasure and honor of hosting the Long Lac Walleye Masters tournament that happened up in Long Lac. I pitched an idea to Alan for me to do it remotely, to be able to do it virtually, so that he would have the same result without the big drive and, unneeded expenses. Because let's face it, we all know tournaments are they're suffering. It's not easy getting boats, because things are costing a fortune these days. And as much as people want to compete and want to participate, it's tough. It's tough. And at 65 boats, which is really incredible, even for Long Lac, that's down, because typically they usually have in the 70s and 80s. I think one event they had 100 boats, if I'm not mistaken. So they usually they usually have a great contingent of participants. But unfortunately, this weekend, it's tough. It's tough these days to get people to spend money. And let's face it, with everything that's going on, is there any doubt why? It's ridiculous. It's just crazy. Anyway, tonight's show is sponsored by, of course, the Made in Canada Tackle Show. And of course, if you are someone like me and you support Made in Canada, not to say that we don't support anything else, but I'd like to support our domestic products. I like to support those who are doing some wonderful things for the industry, as well as for us anglers. But as I said, when it comes to the Made in Canada, there's just a certain spot in my heart for that. And for all you tackle producers and anybody who's producing merchandise, tackle, terminal tackle for us Canadian anglers, thumbs up, tip of the hat. Thanks so much. And we are here to support you. So with that, I want to bring attention to, of course, what is happening Labor Day weekend, which, of course, is the CISA event. This is CISA 2, part 2. And very happy and honored to know that most, if not all, of those vendors that you see on that list are coming back again this year. The only notables that won't be returning, I don't believe Brad's going to be able to come from POW. and Velocity. Paul had mentioned that he's got a conflict, but outside of that, everybody else is coming. So with that being said, if you are a tackle producer, you know somebody that is, or you know somebody that wants a free, and let me repeat this, free opportunity to put their stuff on display and in the eyes of anybody that walks the park down at Confederation in Kingston, please contact me, because we have spots available. But that is who currently is coming, and we are honored to have them. So as I said, if you want to see your logo on display in front of other great vendors, as well as the chance to be in front of some great anglers, who are going to be competing in CISA and who are going to be there, we'd love to have you. Again, reach out to me, let me know. And if you know somebody that isn't watching that would, or it's a great opportunity, again, did I mention it's free? It's free. By all means, reach out to me and we will get that done. Speaking of tournaments, obviously the NCAA is going to be happening again this year, September 18th to the 19th. Honored and happy to have that. We are having issues getting folks to sign up. Regardless of who signs up from here on in, we'll go with whatever field we have. And we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun doing it. It won't have necessarily all the bells and whistles that we had last year, because, as you know, stuff costs money, and without the resources, it just can't be done. But we will make sure that who does come is going to be fed well and have a good time. But we'd love to have you up there, even as a spectator. There are campgrounds on site. If you wanted to pitch a tent, just wanted to get away from the family or with the family for a little bit, again, reach out to me. I'd love to steer you in the right direction so that you can come up and just take it all in. Spanish is a wonderful, wonderful town. We're honored to have that city supporting us in such a huge, huge way. And we do our best anyway to try and pay it back to the town folk, because they certainly do their best to support us, as well as all the vendors in town. There are Gamble's Convenient is a perfect example. Gamble's, it was awesome to hear the feedback from them. They did very, very well. So we're lucky to have such a great location and some great vendors and support. It's second to none. Also, speaking of support, this is very, very important. As it is right now, we currently have roughly 200 people that are signed up right now with the CFN app. You folks, if you have signed up, are considered ambassadors. And when I say ambassadors, it's about sharing the information. Folks, we all know, and we've all been in those situations, and we've probably deemed certain things that we've seen or heard of as, well, they probably just use the excuse they don't speak the language, they don't know, right? Well, when it comes to fishing regulations, everybody needs to know, and there can't be any excuses. So this is an interesting app that is geared towards focusing people on where to go to get the fishing regulations. It is designed to be a portal. So if you don't speak English, and let's say you don't speak French, the regulations really don't speak to you unless you're Chinese in this province. I don't know about any other provinces having a translated version of their regs. This is your arsenal. You're arming yourself that when you go to the launch, when you go to the shoreline, when you're on the water, or you're discussing certain things at tournaments, or just anywhere talking about fishing, and folks need to go, well, where do I go for the regulations? Well, anywhere in Canada, including our territories, this is your one-stop shop. The CFN app provides the means for, if you were to go on a vacation, let's say you live in New Brunswick and you're going to be visiting BC, you can go over to BC, click on it, drop a pin, even to where you're going to be fishing, and you will be steered in the direction of knowing the regs. So anybody who has signed up, you have become an ambassador, and I will knight you. There'll be a full ceremony, trumpets will play. It's going to be something. No, I'm kidding. But at the end of the day, anybody who has signed up, you have just become a CFN app ambassador, and it's all about spreading that information with others. So don't hold it sacred. Reach out to others and let's spread the word. And let's hopefully get some folks that don't know a lot about fishing in the know, right? Simple and plain. Speaking of things that are going on currently right now, the Ontario Triple Crown here in Ontario is happening. Just go over to fishdonkey.com and get yourself registered. If you like catching bass, you like catching walleye, you like catching pike, and all three at the same time, this is your tournament. This is your online tournament. By all means, please reach out to either me if you want any help guiding you towards it. My good buddy Danny Bacon will certainly jump up to help anybody that wants or needs help as well. But yeah, I know you're 100% right. And of course, anybody that is participating on an online tournament, by all means, reach out to Go Large Fish Rulers. We're hoping to have them on this Wednesday to talk a little bit about their story. But right now, the 36-inch rulers are available. Not many, but they are available. That's the email that you need. And I'm going to rush because Steve is pushing me to do so. Tuesday, which is tomorrow, will be the last installment of the Compre Conquer All Challenge. We'll be doing the kids prize as well as one of the video prizes. So we've got 2 prizes yet to give out. Mike will be joining me hopefully at 7:30, if not 8 o'clock, to give the last bit of prizes away and finally put the Compre Conquer All Challenge to bed to a certain extent, because of course we got to get all the prizes out, and Sherman is going to be working with us to do that. So we are looking forward to that. With that being said, yep, Steve, you're 100% right. Moose just ran 20. Wow. Well, we're glad you're okay. Jim, how you doing, pal? Nice to have you along. Matthew, Clayton, jigs and plastics are super cool stuff. Eve's in the house. Nice to have you along. Okay, without further ado, I don't want to upset my man Steve, so let us get over to the big man, the one and only, the infamous, the crowd favorite, the reason you come here every Monday, Big Jim McLaughlin, right after this.
When he was born, he tried to reel in the umbilical cord. Bass named him as their personal best. His power pole came with a stripper. Forward-facing sonar uses him to find fish. Chuck Norris is his co-angler. He is the most interesting fisherman in the world. Stay fishing, my friends.
Yo,
Jim, how you doing, pal?
Good.
Hey, so did you have a thunderstorm that rolled through that knocked out your
No,
Wi-Fi?
we had no storm. We had no storm at all. There was no Wi-Fi. I was going to try to do it with my phone. I got out the little stand we had before in the beginning. I pulled it out of the old drawer there, and I tried it, and there was nothing. I thought, oh, that's going to happen. I went back to the computer, pushed the on button again. It came on, and I had Wi-Fi. So electronics.
Isn't it wonderful? As I said, the light has gone out on this darn thing. This is the infamous mic. It will be, it's going to just be something that collects dust on this desk if I can't figure this damn thing out. But anyway, as you said, yeah, well done, Jim. Well done. Sounds
Did I
like
get you?
word. Absolutely.
I got you, didn't I?
You wouldn't be the first one to do that to me, and I doubt you'll be the last one. But Jim, as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. You have been part of these events before. The one that we're going to talk about is Peter Larman's the youth event, where he's able to get
How many hundreds?
I was just going to say, like, how many have you been a part of? But awesome to see Peter out doing what he does best, and of course, it's all about the kids.
Yeah.
Great to see. And of course, if you have the pleasure of leafing through some of these photos, it is quite something to see. And Jim, really, how does it work? Like, obviously, you're a pro, you have a boat, you volunteer your time, but there's more to it than just that.
Yeah, when you get out there on the water with them, you got to forget. 90% of those guys are tournament fishermen, regardless of how good a tournament fisherman they are. It's what they love doing, and whether they've ever cast a check or not, they're out there. They're having a good time. They really have to remember to scale it all back. I often said that when we did these things, the greatest thing that ever happened was the Senko. because
Yeah.
the kids could chuck them out and they would get a bite. It almost never failed. Like you'd almost have to go out of your way for the kids not to get a bite doing that, eh? And you got to remember when you do these things, I always explain to people that it's not about you, it's about them.
Right.
And it's just like when I got guided, I didn't fish. I had rods in the boat. People were paying me good money to take them fishing. It was about them catching fish, not me. And they used to say, Big Jim, if you got more rods, get a rod and fish with us. We won't, whatever else. And then they'd have the odd guy here and there that, is there any better spots to go to? So I'd pull out a rod, catch 3 or 4 fish, put the rod back in the rod locker, and say, "Trust me, they're here." I've done that to some not nice people a few times, but no, it's just a wonderful thing. You get these people in the boat; they don't get out to fish. Maybe they've never fished. One of the guys I was talking to, I think it was at one of the first events, and like he said, the kid had never caught a fish in his life, and he caught a pound walleye on a Senko.
No way.
Yeah, and the kid just, it was late in the day. He said the kid remained chipper all day, and all of a sudden, nice walleye. Like I said, it was about 3 pounds probably. So that's really cool when stuff like that happens. Like that kid will remember that for the rest of his life.
100%. And we're going to do our best to try and pay our respects to those who participate. Obviously, if you see your name, I want to congratulate you for being mentors to some up-and-coming anglers. And, of course, with some of the names that are there, you recognize a lot of these lads.
Yeah, like, Jeff Porges there. I mean, he's just a fantastic guy. Some of these guys, I know their name, but I'm not familiar with them. But Lewin Harrison up at the top there, he comes to the kids thing here with us.
Yeah.
And Chad Riopel's at everything that there is that you could possibly get near. He just helps out at anything out there. And you'll see, there's a few more guys down the list here. I'm thinking Josh Wilson might be a son of the Wilsons. I mean, Brad Spruill, Steve Rioch, he comes out once in a while and helps us out. Chris Waldock, Sheldon Evans. That's Jacked Up Jigs. Sarah Carmichael's brother. Not Sarah. What is it?
Kara.
Yeah, Kara. He's in there. Tim Carmichael. Corey, I'm not sure those guys down there. I'm not sure that bottom name there. I might know it, but I'm not sure. But it's just so nice that the guys come out, and it's not about bringing in 5 fish and being a hero. They just have a really, really good time, And then like Sheldon from Jacked Up Jigs there, he won a rod, and he gave the rod to the kid.
That's awesome.
Stuff like that. That's just really, really cool. To see stuff like that. Yeah.
So we have our winners. So I want to congratulate in third place. I'm going to say that Bryson is the youth angler that was with Chris. Managed to bring in 10.34. I'm going to assume that is a bag limit, like a 3-4 fish bag limit, Jim?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. Yeah.
Okay. But 10.34, certainly nothing to sneeze at. Great outing there for that lad. And then in second place, which I just missed, there we go, Beckett Goodfellow. 3.66 was the big fish. That's a big fish for a young lad. Nice work. Now, as a pro, is there a sense of pride making sure that your young angler is on fish, catches fish, and wins the awards, the bragging rights?
Yeah, you want that to happen because you're going to get heckled after if you.
Yeah, and I know one person that would definitely be at the top of that list when it comes to heckling because you're really good
at it. Thick skin, buddy. I'm good at taking it. I'm good at dishing it.
Absolutely. Brandon Lefebvre, good for you. 4 pound. You got a big fish, 4 pound, but
that's nice.
11.82 pounds total for first place. And Chris Crook gets to take home the bragging rights as the pro. But Peter, fantastic stuff to see. We definitely need to see more of that, and hopefully CFN can do our best to help promote that in the future because that's awesome stuff. Right on. All right, Jim. I know you've been busy down at the lake. I'm going to assume based on the raking that was done the past week.
It's all filled back in.
It's all back in.
Well, it's not, I mean, it's at the top. I mean, like they took some of the weed out, but the only thing you can fish with down there now is a frog. I went down the other night, I tied on a 1 ounce sinker on one of the new rods, and I went down there and shot it up in the air, and it just goes splat on the stuff, doesn't even go through. Like, it's just,
Like casting in the wet
And yet-
cement is what you're saying.
we went down today to bring Tammy down to the doctor in Kingston and grab groceries. And I drive over the Cataraqui River there. And some of the bays that normally are totally gucked up, they're just beautiful, clear blue water with a little fringe this wide of junk around the edges.
Oh, wow.
There's no mats. Now, the water in the lake is cold, but that's not the water up at the 401. That's like a mile away.
Right.
And the water's going the other way. And I know the wind does push it in and it rises, the old bit in the lake with the wind, but I don't remember seeing a year where that bay at the 401 did not fill in with gunk. I don't remember seeing that. So that means all those fish that live there, boy, they're there for the taking right now. You could probably catch them on spinner baits or jerk baits, something across a rattle bait over the top, because they're not hiding underneath all the mat where you have to be really methodical and go every couple of feet to catch them. So it's
Steve's saying they're starting to get them on frogs, which is nice. Gotta love that topwater bite. Luke has mentioned that is still on AOL. Are you still on AOL?
AOL.
AOL. What is that? Angler. I can't remember what that is. Hopefully Luke will.
Alcohol
Luke will,
over.
Yes, absolutely, Keith. It's a good practice to keep if you are fishing as an adult, especially if you're taking your kids fishing. It is best, as Jim said, to leave the rods.
Oh, yeah, Keith. So that means that fish you're holding up in that picture, that means that your kids got that and you held it up. Oh, I got you, boy.
Oh boy,
I got
So
you.
Razzie-
He was all
the
excited. He was telling me, he messaged me and he was telling me that I think he said that was the first fish he caught on forward-facing sonar.
Oh, no way.
I believe so. That's
Wow.
he could correct me if I'm wrong there, buddy. Just say yes, so I look good. Yeah.
I will say this, Keith. If you need any marriage counseling, because once you buy Live Scope and you're hooked now, like you're going to want it. There's no getting around it. You're going to want Live Scope now. If you need any marriage counseling, talk to Jim. Jim's your guy. He's a great.
I saw a guy sent me a picture. Well, I didn't see him. He sent me a picture. He says, "What do you think of this?" He's got the boat tied in. He's got a cottage or a rental place for the weekend, and he's got the family there and everything. And he says, "What do you think of this?" He's got the forward-facing sonar because he's got the boat backed in for the evening. Like just sitting there, all tied up with the bumpers and everything, ready to go. That's awesome, buddy. That's awesome. And he's got it all tied up and everything. And he's got the electric in the water with the forward-facing sonar pointing out in front of where he's sitting on the end of the dock. And he says to me, "Look at this." And he shows me, he said he sat there and waited till a fish swam into the picture. And he caught a pike about 6 pounds. He said he's sitting there drinking a cocktail. He's got a rod in his hand. And he said, I'm watching. All of a sudden I went, "Oh, look, fish."
That's hilarious.
And he catches it. Yeah, I thought it was funny. Yeah.
That's funny stuff.
Even using it for shore fishing.
So Tony's reminding us that AOL is the old system internet. I don't remember AOL.
Oh, America Online.
Is that what that is?
mean?
Maybe. Yeah, I wasn't around.
I don't
during
remember that. You might remember it, Tony.
I don't remember AOL, and I was certainly not on the
You don't
internet.
remember that?
No.
America Online?
Dude, I honestly
You
didn't know.
youngsters.
And to be honest with you, Jim, it was like TV series. People were like, "Hey, did you watch such and such?" No, I don't have time. I don't have time for that. No. And AOL, I didn't know what internet was until I started this, to be quite honest with you. I know it was somewhere you could go Google stuff, but when it came to technology, internet, Facebook, social media, I knew none of this stuff.
I'm still crippled. I can't do it.
Yeah, I still have tons to learn, but no, you nailed it.
Like
That's exactly what it was.
Tammy was going to have the email go over to her to the Mac and put me on there with you. So the thing, and I messaged back to her and I said, I got it. It's fixed. And she says, really? With a question.
That's hilarious.
So as soon as I'm done here,
Right on.
straightening her out, I've got it here.
You got the persuader with you.
I'll
Nice
need
to
one
see.
in each hand.
That's hilarious. Jim, obviously, weather is starting to have its effect on fishing. I have been hearing folks tell me that it is starting to heat up a little bit, but everybody went through little bit of a lull in the last couple of weeks. It was tough to get fish to bite.
It's that thing that happens when you get into the summer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, people want to do the same things they were doing back in the spring. They're not, the fish are moving and they're not. They're still back. You know, it's Friday night. They're back in the same spot they were in 3 weeks ago, and the fish ain't there now. Right? Fish ain't there. Like, I mean, it's. I've been talking to so many guys about that. I had one guy there, and he says to me, 2 years ago, he said, I caught fish at this spot. He said, right up until I went on vacation, same weekend every year. And I said, yeah. And he says, I haven't caught a fish there now almost my whole vacation. I said, well, why are you still going there? Why don't you go to different places in the lake? You know, every year you tell me the same thing. Oh, I go for just the weekends. It's great. And then when I get my 3 weeks, he goes there for 3 weeks and he fishes his brains out. The family, he's a little bit older, getting up there, but the kid, they come visit with the grandkids and everything else. And like he says to me, here I am in the boat, and the grandkids, you can see them all on the lawn. He said they had about 8 of them there in a while. So he says, I can get away when I leave in the boat.
That's
But
hilarious.
I told him, you got to pay attention to what you're doing. Hey, that's one of the real secrets to success in fishing.
Yep.
I'll give it to you right now. There's somebody watching here that's just saying to himself, well, that's me, And
Yep.
you gotta do it.
Yeah, it's so true. Speaking of odd catches on odd baits, and you're a man I know that has pitched a lot of stuff over the years. And
Hey.
I hate what I mean in a good way, pitching a lot of stuff. But I want to ask and I don't want to put you on the spot, so I'll give you time to think about it. But of all the craziest baits presentations that you've used, was there ever a fish that you caught that you just sat back and said, I can't believe I just caught that on that bait or using that presentation? Was there any one that you can think of that comes to mind where it was, holy smokes, I wasn't expecting to catch that?
Well, a long time ago, before we had Senkos, I remember catching bass on gummy worms.
Okay.
You'd buy a bag, one of the bags of them at the gas station, and you throw it in the boat for just chew on a few of them in a lock, or when you're driving down the lake or whatever, right? 9 times out of 10, you'd get 2 out of the bag and they would blow away. But I did that one night. Sitting at the dock. It was one of the few spots where we could keep the boat in the water for the night, and they had big lights on it, and they had a big old dog that they had tied up there, so it was safe, eh? And we were catching them one after the other. The first time I did it, then everybody's over. You got any candy? But we didn't even know what a Senko was then, though. We didn't know what a Senko was.
Now, obviously, soft plastics existed back then, right? Like it would have resembled something that you've used. Okay,
yeah,
that's not all that off the wall. And of course, anybody that knows and has tried it themselves, they work. The gummy worms, they work.
Oh, they'll eat, especially the ones that aren't with all the sugar on the outside, the ones that are just like plain like an old juju bean, but in a shape of a worm, right? And I just had them nose hooked, and we caught them one after the other. But after about 10 minutes, it's only half the size because it melts in the water, right? It dissolves.
It disintegrates. Yeah.
Interesting. Keith caught one on a kibasa. That's cool.
So I've seen pike getting caught on hot dogs. I've seen that.
Oh yeah, everybody's done that.
Everybody's done that. The pike and the hot dog. But yeah, kibasa. I don't know if I'd be releasing kibasa on a pike. No offense. I know you love your pike, Keith, but I don't know if I love them that much. Mike caught a 30-pound chinny on pink and purple squirmy worm. So I'm going to assume that it is something similar to what you're talking about.
Andy, yeah, something like that.
A gummy worm, yeah. It was a gummy. That. Tammy got a channel cat on a gummy worm. So gummy worms are the hot.
I had a
bait.
guy tell me that his uncle caught a muskie almost 50 pounds on a slice of roast beef. And I whatever. So I bump into the guy about 2 weeks after they're all down. This is by Billings Bridge in Ottawa. I'm fishing from the shore. I'm like 23 maybe. It was when I had the store. And I took the bus from the store. Didn't have a car yet. I didn't have a car because I didn't have the money. Took the bus down Bank Street, got off at Billings Bridge, and I'm down there fishing. And she says to me that his wife comes over and says, I know you didn't believe about the roast beef, but here's the picture. And it wasn't a muskie. It was a channel catfish down in Santee Cooper Reservoir or something, someplace in the States. And it was probably like 25 pounds. No, it was a big catfish. It wasn't a 50-pound muskie, but there's a difference. They look a little different, you know.
And you
she
know
was
what?
very proud of that.
As you mentioned, it's at that time, and God rest his soul, my father gave me the best advice ever. Scott, you will get down a rabbit hole where you're going to have to make a decision. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And in that situation, I don't want to prove the guy wrong. You know what? Fantastic work. Beautiful stuff.
I like roast beef too. So
I love roast beef too. Absolutely. What muskie wouldn't?
Hot roast beef sandwich? Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. Sonia caught an Atlantic this July on a Ned rig. Interesting.
Oh, you did not. You're just saying that because everybody else did. I'm just kidding. I hope you're
just kidding. Yeah, absolutely. Mike caught his biggest smallie on a gold ball. Interesting. Fishing for carp. Interesting.
Hey, I know a guy who caught a giant walleye on a boilie. That's that carp thing, that thing they use for carp with the hair rig. Caught it on a boilie. It was like 14 pounds in the St. Lawrence River.
Wow. That's interesting stuff. If you have something that you've caught that surprised the heck out of you based on what you were using, I love, and I know you and I have talked about this before, when you get into a situation, especially when you're up in the North Country, and it's fish after fish, and you just get to the point where I'm going to throw my sock out to see if I can catch a fish with it. I love getting
to the top dead.
Well, absolutely, especially if you've been there for 3-4 days without a shower. But I digress. But there's some stuff that, you know, we came up with all kinds of names. We would dig deep in the tackle box and try and find something. But I have to say, I was always surprised at some of the stuff that we caught on what we were using. But in some of those non-pressured lakes where all the fish are hungry, sometimes you get.
You know what I'm going to do next week? I got about probably 15, maybe 20 boxes like this out in the garage. Just boxes that are full of stuff from over the years. And I sold some of the musky stuff off, but I've got just scads of them like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a bunch of them in from the garage, and we're going to go through and there's old stuff in there, like things that were special to me, and we can talk about each one as you go. Because if I keep them that long, it's what it is.
Wow, the claw.
My favorite thing. Whenever we drop anything on the floor now, you grab that and you pick it up.
It's awesome. Jim never misses a tip either.
No, look at it. I caught a fly with it a few weeks ago off the window. I told Tammy I'm going to catch that fly. She looks at me and just shakes her head and goes, "Was when we were working on the paper?" And I said, "Look at that! I got it." And I pinched him right. I was following him around with it. She's just about ready to give me the old.
Well, I have heard you being referred to before as sensei, so I'm not the least bit surprised that you were able to do that. Kate, I hope I'm pronouncing your right. Kagi, I hope it's Kagi.
KG Flowers, hey, what's up, buddy?
Caught a big pike on moose meat again. That's meat. I don't know if I'd want to eat moose meat.
Why would you waste moose meat on a?
I didn't want to go there. But yeah, that's sometimes.
Did you see KG's picture there?
Yeah.
The picture that was up of him, that's his granddaughter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
awesome.
a really cool dude. He works at, correct me if I'm wrong, KG, it's called the Wabano Center. It's a native center in Ottawa, and he works there. He does some wonderful work there. but he's an absolute stick in a kayak. You should see him. He's got the kayak with the transducers, and like it looks like a bass boat, except it's a kayak. You know what I mean? He's into it. He's like up to here. He loves it.
Wow, cool stuff. Yeah, so we have a Karate Kid reflection, Mr. Oh my good lord, what was his name? Magag? How do you pronounce his name?
Mugai.
Magagi?
Mugai.
I can't remember the name, but yeah, the Karate Kid sensei that allowed Danny to win the championship, even though he was hobbling around on one leg. Magagi. I think it was. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, again, we're dating ourselves, Jim. Something I wanted to share with you. Kagi just came back with yes, Wabano Center. Yeah, awesome stuff. That's beautiful. Good stuff. Good connection there.
Good to see you, buddy.
I wanted to tell you this story. It happened yesterday at the Long Lac Walleye Masters, and this is something that I thought was really cool to see. And for anybody who's ever fished with their father, and maybe some of us that have not, I thought it was a really cool illustration of what it meant to win something with your dad. So I've had the pleasure of knowing Miguel and Sam, who's his son, for a number of years through the NOWT trail. Sam has always been someone that has really been helpful, whether it's getting weigh bags down to the dock, making sure the boats aren't hitting the dock, so he'll hold the boats.
Just a good kid.
He's just a great kid. And I said to him in a live that we did on one of the tournaments that he was there with me, do you see yourself one day competing? And he said, oh, yes, absolutely, Scotty. I can't wait to compete. I don't have the video, unfortunately, because it was hours of stuff that I'd have to go through to find it. But I just wanted to tell you the story. I want to congratulate Sam, and I know he's not watching. I'm sure Miguel isn't watching either. But I wanted to share this with you, Jim, because it was a real feel-good moment. Not only did Sam win, not only did he fish with his dad, but he won his first tournament on the weekend. And the coolest part about it, I don't even think he's a teenager yet. He's a young boy. Yeah. And he won with his dad, and he was emotional. It was overwhelming for him. And I can't begin to imagine how cool of a feeling that would be for Sam. He looks up to his father, loves his father dearly, and loved, I'm sure, the opportunity to fish with his dad. But to be able to compete in a tournament and win, can you imagine? Like, that is such a cool feeling. That kid is hooked for life on tournament fishing just because of that.
That'd be a hoot.
It was so awesome to see. He's such a great kid. Such a great kid. They've done a fantastic job bringing that kid up. But to see him win, holy smokes, was that awesome. Man, almost brought me to tears.
I want to go over some of the things I've been hearing people catch and fish with. One is our buddy Rob from Dominate Baits.
Yeah, baby.
His
that's the Thunder Shad.
His bait here.
Yep.
That's the one we talked about earlier. Remember, it's because they've got those little, I don't know if you can see it, those little wings on the side there. That's what gets it, that rolling motion, which is really appealing to most fish when they see it. Our buddy Wes from Wham Baits. That's one of the new, well, not new, but one of the baits he's been putting out. See, it's a hand pour.
Yeah, but I like how thick that is. That's
yeah. There's that. There's a couple of different colors here.
That's an interesting profile. I haven't seen that with that.
Oh, it's common, but he's done it. He's done it up really nice. He's done it up really nice. And he's got some, they're all sort of blue gilly looking colors, eh? But he's got that. You'd fish that on you could fish on a jig head, but it's best to fish on one of those rigs that's the hook with the sinker with the little spinner flashing underneath it. That works really, really well. And then I was talking to Justin at Gagnon's today, mentioning I was going to be dropping in. I'm going to go down. I got to go to the new mothership on Wednesday, and I was talking to Justin at Gagnon's, and he was telling me that Pete Cito, his Mondo, the large one, this here's just dirty looking. That's the one I caught all the fish out back here with last year. This one here, the Mondo gill.
Beautiful stuff.
It's just been selling, and when things sell, it's because people are getting bid on them.
Yep.
That's
100%.
why it sells. It's amazing out there. And last but not least, I was talking to a couple of guys out the back here. Our buddy Jeff from Limestone.
Yes, sir.
I had a guy send me a picture. He says, I got a bag of those things. He met me out at the dock here one day. I was driving by and he was launching a boat. He waves at me, And he says, what are you doing here? And I looked at him and I said, well, I live here. He goes, where, really? I says, where? I said, there. I said, that's my boat. That's my boathouse. He was like, I said, I didn't know that. I thought you lived in Ottawa. I says, no. But anyways, he saw these in that color and he got himself some. And it's called a rib tickler. And he got himself some online. What color is this? He calls it pumpkin seedy. It's a different sort of take on pumpkin seed. But I had that I fished that on the back of my bucktails and did really, really well. But I'll tell you, the big thing right now is still, and it's going to be for a long time, I believe. The BKK hook, I believe, is just about to be released. I gotta shake them down and get some. It's absolutely so cool the way they've developed it with the swivel on the top and the wire coming off the bottom. You push your bait up against the wire, bend the wire around it so you don't lose the bait every time you set the hook, Because with the TPT plastic, it's not coming off. I think the treble hook is the way to go. I know a lot of guys are using doubles and they're using the frog hook and whatever else. But man, if you're fishing not right in, trying to fish in the weed with it, I don't think there's anything that beats having a hook with 4 points on it. With the bait hanging under it, you can't lose. Like they suck that bait in, and when it tries to go back out, what's the first thing that they've got? Because the hook's right here at the top, just like a boilie, like we were talking about carp fishing. Yeah. They suck in the boilie on the way back out. They get stuck. It's just the way it works. It's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Jim, as always, our time flies, and with a full house, we got big Lawrence to get to. We haven't spoken to him in a few weeks.
Put a memo in his file.
Well, maybe that's what I have to read to him is the memo. It'll be one of these here on this day we celebrate Big Jim because Lawrence is
and a guy twice the size of me comes out and picks him up from behind.
What have you got coming up this week?
Tomorrow I've got what have I got tomorrow? I'd have to look at my book. I know there's something there. I've got a sign hanging on the door that says 11 a.m. So I know that means so I don't go out the door, forget about it. I've been doing that for years.
That's
the
classic.
The number of things I did on my phone. The people were saying, I thought you were going to be in the office. I got you on your cell phone. Oh, well, I had an emergency. The emergency was I forgot I was supposed to.
It's so funny you say that, and I know I digress, but I everybody says, Scotty, you have a phone. Yeah. Well, why is it that every time that you do a live or we have a Teams call, I see nothing but sticky notes along your wall? Like you're surrounded with sticky notes. And I said, I'm old school. I have to write it down. It's got to be written down, and I have to be able to see it for me to know that I have it. If I can't see it, I don't know that I have it. Because there's you can get your phone to do this, eh?
Scotty, I bought these at a garage sale. Probably. Oh, there's a bag of baits I was looking for.
Good boy.
Oh my God! What a great evening.
Well, what bag is it? Oh, right on.
I thought they were lost. They had gone down the back of a box and get the rod.
Okay. I was just going to say, I know what you're doing tonight.
So I bought these probably 15 years ago, and the pile was this big when I bought it. Okay, it's these things here, and there was some bigger square ones.
Yeah,
and I had them everywhere. There was 20. They were everywhere in the office, and that was like 25 years ago. And I think it got to the point where it didn't make a difference because I know I used to sit and go, yep, that's done, that's done, that's done. And I'd have like 50. in my hand. And the number of times it saved me. But no, I've got that tomorrow. Wednesday morning, I'll be out of here 5 o'clock I want to get into right when they open up at Emery.
Yeah.
I'll be there for an hour or so. Then I'm going to drop by and see Justin and Michael and all those guys at Gagnon's because I haven't been in for a couple of months.
Nice.
Be home from there. And then Thursday, I have going to get my eyes looked at. It's been 5 years since I got my glasses strengthened, and they're still good. I have no problem, but I do notice every once in a while there's just one of these with, I'll tilt the glasses up, tilt them down just to be sure, So the last time I talked to the diabetes lady, she said, "Jim, have you made your appointment yet?" She said, "You've told me 3 times now that you were going to make it." So anyways, I go on Thursday and I'll get new glasses. And then Friday, I don't think I have too much to do. And then the long weekends here, we were going to put the boat in. Lewis is going to come put the boat in for me, but then I have to move it on Saturday night because they'll be doing the fireworks here.
Oh, okay.
That they didn't get to do on Canada Day because it was absolutely wild here, right?
Yeah.
That was when we had the big floods that went to Ottawa. Remember that? They got 167 millimeters of rain in like 4 hours.
Nuts.
That's like 6-7 inches of rain. They see there's 6,000 people got claims going now. Flooded basements. They showed people the marks on the wall. Water in their living room, in the basement, the rec room, 4 feet high.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible. So we're supposed to be into the rain big time. I guess starts about 2 a.m. it shows right now. And it runs right through until Wednesday night here. We're supposed to get like 60, 70 millimeters.
Wow.
So you'll be getting some of that too.
Yeah.
But I've been working on some real
nice stuff.
And those are just singles. That's just one coil. So it'll just be a great big single blade. This one here.
Nice.
They'll be all over that. Yeah, the ones on the weekend, the guys absolutely freaked over. So it was they were big and fast and furious on those ones, so it's all good.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, Jim. And the week after is honest. It's time. I got to start doing stuff on the water.
Yep.
I have a lot of stuff to replace, a lot of memories to replace with different stuff, and we're gonna do it up big time. And then I got to start planning too. I got in the middle of September. I'm going to get you and Roshi's coming down too with his partners from Nishine. I'm not working with them, but just so you know.
Hopefully I'm able to make it, Jim. September, and I so desperately want to get there. Is it going to be during the week or on the weekend?
You do whatever you want.
Okay, well that's good because I will most likely have to pick a weekday to do it. Weekends are going to be tight in September.
We're gonna book it way ahead. Take a chance on the weather because he's got to travel from over where he is there, Niagara and that, so he's got to come the day before.
Cool.
We'll get up and go fishing. No big rush. 8:30, 9 o'clock. Get out there, fish till 3 or 4, and he'll be home in time for a snooze.
Sounds good. All right, pal. Great talking with you tonight. Thanks so much for your time, and thanks for making
Always fun, kiddies. Always fun.
Absolutely. You take care of yourself, pal. Have a great week.
I will.
We got Lawrence coming up right after this. Lawrence?
Yes, sir.
Is that you? Is that really you?
Have I changed that much? Have I gotten older or what?
No, it's just
more gray hair.
So long. Honestly, it feels as if it's been a month since we last spoke. Is it been close to? It's been close to a month. I know you've been gone at least 3 weeks. So yeah, it could be.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Like I just go one day to the next, and it's always something work, and it's been a busy summer. I got the 3 students. Got the 3 students working for us full time. Thank you, Service Canada. I got volunteers helping out. got some programs we're working on. It's just one after the other, and we're keeping busy for sure. It's summer, we got to
give
run
us
the programs.
an idea, because obviously, the first week that you weren't able to be with us, I believe there may have been a possible flood that happened up at the research center that you had to deal with, and then you were up there obviously with a group. You were having a group up at that time, so you weren't able to make it. Then I can't remember what happened last week, but you've been busy. I want to know what's been going up at the research center. Where are we at? What are some of the highlights and takeaways that you can give us, and some of the things that you're still looking forward to?
Well, we're adding to the research center because of just capacity. So, the center itself is oversubscribed. So we've been adding buildings around it. We've added, we've added 2 sort of sleeping cabins. We added another kitchen. And now we just brought in, on Friday, we brought in a sort of another meeting / dining hall. It's 22 by 20, and it can, easily accommodate 16 people comfortably, and all wheelchair accessible as well. So with that, came in on Friday on a tandem axle tilt bed tow truck, 22 feet long, 10 feet wide, and the one wall was 10 feet high, and then it slopes to the back, and it's 6.5 feet high on the back wall. So it was quite the load, and that was going to come last Thursday, and then we found out they picked it up, but they were going to bring it in on Friday morning at 10. So, up there, that who knows when 10 is, but it's going to, anything can happen. So we're on the grounds getting ready. We got the stakes hammered into the ground and all measured off. This is where it's going to go. And then over at the fish camp next door, I hear a truck roll in there. And I think, is that my bunkie going over they take the wrong driveway? But then I heard a big water pump start up, a big sump pump kind of thing, a gas powered pump. I said, oh, it's the they're emptying their sewage tanks over there. They're septic tanks.
Yeah.
So I said, I missed them last time. And so I went over there and introduced myself to the guy, and I said, hey, come on, have a look at our tanks. I think it's getting pretty full. And he said, yeah, let me have a look. He just finished one tank. So he comes over, we popped the lid. He goes, oh, it looks good. He said, it's perfect level. Tank's in great shape. He said, let me go back and finish up the other 2 tanks, and then I'll come around and pump yours out. Well, I'm here. And that saves us a lot of money, because then me and the camp next door, we split the long distance charge.
Right.
Because of all the traveling, right? So he goes off, and I hear him start up his pump again. So I know he's on tank 2. And then I hear honking way up the end of our driveway. Our driveway is about 300, 400 feet long. And I said, okay, you guys, we got the bunkie's here. So someone's got to go up and meet him and guide him down the driveway. So sent a couple people up. And then I said to another guy, I said, bring me, they're coming down the driveway real slow. I said, you bring me up to the start of our driveway. So when the sump pump, the honey wagon comes, he doesn't come down right after the tow truck, right? Because I don't need 2 giant trucks on my driveway at once. It's not easy to back out of there, and turning around could become challenging. So I get up to the mouth of the driveway, and at that point we're already in trouble with the tow truck. It didn't make the turn at the bottom. Halfway down the driveway, it does a sort of not a 90-degree turn, but kind of maybe a 70-degree turn to the left, and it follows the shoreline at that point. Well, he didn't quite take the turn sharp enough, and his passenger side sort of slipped off the side of the bank, and he went over a little bit. And if it wasn't for a pine tree, if it wasn't for the bunkie leaning up against the pine tree, I think he might have tumbled into the lake. And so he's there now. He's stuck against a tree. So he asked me for a chainsaw. So I got him a chainsaw and a step ladder. I had a 12-foot step ladder. So he's up there cutting that tree down. So I got to run back and stop that septic tank, that's honey wagon from coming down the driveway. So he comes to the driveway, and I stop and I said, hey man, I have bad news. I got this tow truck down there with a big 22-foot cabin on it that he's delivering. and he's having a little bit of trouble right now, but I don't think you're going to be able to get in. And I said, sorry about that. And he goes, he said, I'll just park here and see if I can give a hand. So he just leaves his big truck on the side of the road, walks down with me, and at that point, we got my truck hooked up, my Ram 2500 hooked up to the front of this tow truck with this 15,000-pound cabin on the back of it, and we're hooked up to the outside front corner of the tow truck, and to my Ram, and we want to get it back up on the driveway without it going over. We caught the tree down, so now there's nothing stopping it from going over. It's tilting at maybe, I don't know, 20 degrees, and so he's leaning over. My wife's got behind the wheel of the truck, and she got it in 4-wheel drive low, and everything starts up, and we got that tow truck back on the road, back on the driveway. So he comes down, does a turnaround at the bottom, backs up, tilts, crushes a few more trees.
Oh,
and all of a sudden I'm here is crunch, crunch, crunch as my metal roof is taking the worst of it, right?
No.
Oh yeah. And I'm thinking, is anyone watching this? Hello? Look, I got 10 people standing around. Is no one telling this guy to stop before the crunching starts?
Oh boy. I was just gonna say, is it advantageous at this point to be blind, or would you have rather been able to see?
It's worse. Exactly. Because they say like white water on a river, it sounds 10 times worse than it really is, right?
Right.
When you're coming up to white water in a canoe or a kayak, it always sounds 10 times worse than it really is. Just the noise. Yeah, so I know the crunching of the metal. I know the metal overhangs the eaves, so I'm not too worried about it. It's just metal; it can easily be snipped off, new pieces slid in, And anyways, get it in there, get it situated more or less on some steel pipes, and the tow truck. Give him a big hug. His actual fiance's with him, and then he says, Lawrence, he said, my fiance and I would love to come back for a weekend and just help out around here. Call me. And he gave us his personal phone number. So he toodles off. I got guys working on getting the driveway leveled off, I tell you, the ruts from his truck. And he had a tandem axle, tandem wheel. So there's 8 wheels on the back of his truck. And it sank probably close to 2 feet on the one side. His wheels, no, it couldn't be. Must have been like more 18 inches down into the sand. There was an 18-inch sort of rut on the outside edge of the driveway where he slipped off the driveway, and it's sand, So we had it all leveled off before he went back out. And then I have no idea. I'm thinking, man, that sewage truck guy, he's probably long gone. And I said to someone, I guess that sewage truck's gone. And he goes, oh no, Ted's coming now. And sure enough, the tow truck leaves, sewage truck pulls in, that makes the corner, no problem, comes down, pumps out my tank. And he was really helpful, that guy too. Like he was really helpful with the shovels and chainsaws and moving stuff around, and one truck driver to another, just helping out, getting the job done. And he said, Lawrence, I said, well, I'm getting the driveway done. We're getting some landscaping done here. As soon as we had this done, we were going to get the landscaping done. And he said, you want to maybe make that corner a little more gentle. He said, I don't mind it. He said, tow trucks don't mind it. But he said, when you get that first load of propane in here, like we've been on small tanks, but we're going to get a 900-pound tank. Oof. And he said, when they come in to fill up that 900-pound tank, he said, those guys, they take no chances. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, of course they don't. Last thing you want to be is in a truck, a giant truck full of propane and go rolling over the edge. That's a bomb waiting to go off, right? So he said, they're really, really nervous. Those guys don't take any chances. So you really have to make sure that driveway's in good shape for the propane truck.
Well, the Monday that you don't show up, we're going to assume that the propane truck did. And
that was
we
it.
We may never get the story. That's wow.
It'll be in the news. It'll be in the news.
Pete is sharing your love for septic, as he just installed a septic tank himself. We do have, we've got a question Mike wants to ask, and yes, we definitely want to get to it. But obviously you have, with the time that you've had away, the research center has taken a good brunt of your time getting that ready. And have you had quite a few groups go through already, or?
We've had small groups coming up. We're just keeping it small, just getting feedback. And, we've got like basic systems in place. We got the Starlink satellite going up there now. So that's good for communications. And we're just keeping it, walk before you run, right? I'm not throwing the doors wide open, playing the trumpet, saying we're open, woo. No. We just bring it in small groups. Hey, come and have a visit. Come and let us know what you think. Let's try this, try that. And the other thing we're doing, we had Ottawa University of Ottawa, their business administration program. They had 7 students that have been helping us out for the last three weeks, just refining our business plan. And one of the things they came up with, listen, this is the Canadian Ecological Center over near Nipissing in a provincial park. It's located in a provincial park. They have this Canadian Ecological Center. It's a charity. They have 28 cabins. Each cabin can hold between 4 and 6 students. They have a meeting hall that can hold 150 people, a large commercial kitchen, big dining hall. It's just a beautiful, beautiful center. They said, Lawrence, this is a model you could follow, the Bluefish Center could follow. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay. So I checked out the website. And sure enough, last June of 2025, they had one of those Derache swim events.
Yep.
10,000 trees in that provincial park got knocked down in 20 seconds. Every one of their buildings was damaged.
No.
They were out of service for a year. They just opened up this past July, small opening. They're trying to raise money. They need to raise another $500,000 to get things opened up properly.
Jeez.
And at the same time, this is one of those big outdoor centers that focused on large number of school kids. This is when, we've seen this now out here in Eastern Ontario too, with all the budget cuts to school boards. This has been a thing going on for the last 4 or 5 years, right? Cutting back on the, school boards, overspending school boards, getting into deficit situations, and Doug Ford firing school boards and saying, look, if you can't run your school board without running a deficit, we're going to fire the board and take it over ourselves. And what's happened is the budgets have been cut, the budget's been tightened, and now these school boards, they've been sending all these kids to outdoor education centers, like the Canadian Ecological Center. That's why they have 28 cabins that can sleep 6 to 4 kids in each cabin, because they have kids coming up. They have yellow school buses coming and going all the time, like big groups coming in and out. And the school boards are paying them huge money to give these kids out $3,000 a week per kid. That's what it costs, $3,500 per kid per week to have that experience up there. Now that's all gone. So all these outdoor centers that have ramped up for these, large number of school kids, they're all like, what do we do? What do we do with these buildings? What do we do with our staff? What do we do with all this money we've invested into running these school programs, outdoor education school programs for the school boards? They're all struggling. So
this is the problem, right? Like at the end of the day, stuff that was readily available when we were kids is going to be a luxury for kids going forward.
You got lots of money and your parents are going to have to pay, right? Yeah. And that, because the boards, the public system's not going to pay for it anymore.
No,
it's a bit of a shame, but for sure it's a shame, because all these kids that were having these experiences, like I look at the curriculum at the Canadian Ecological Center and the things they were teaching and the events they were running, and they're like what the Bluefish Center is, only on steroids, right? They're just huge. But our model's different. We're more Airbnb. Like, you come up, we bring a group, you get if it's a group that can't afford to come up, we get sponsors lined up to pay for the group. But they bring their own food, they do their own cooking. We have no commercial kitchens. You come up, you bring your food, you cook for your group, small groups, family groups, and then there's a bunch of stuff we will do for free that with our summer employees, our summer staff. We can offer these programs for free, certain things, but then we have a very extensive list of add-ons. And the add-ons are provided by local people, local anglers, local hunters and trappers, local foragers, people who live in these areas, who have lived in these places for generations, whose families go way back. Some of them are indigenous, some of them aren't, some of them are a bit of both. You know, the main thing they all share in common is the love of being in the outdoors. They're not chasing money. They're not leaving to go find jobs in oil rich towns. They're trapping in the winter. They're hunting and fishing with their families. They're getting jobs here and there to make ends meet. And these people know these forests, and they know these old logging roads like the back of their hands. They know where all the lakes are and all the fish. And these guys are they don't work for us. They work for the people who come up as guides, as you know, interpreters, you know. Right. And that they get to choose, you know, what kind of experience you want to have. You want to have a pike experience, you want to have a bass experience, you want to have a bass, pike, and trout experience over 3 days. You know, we can help arrange that with experts. You want to have an indigenous experience for a day, we can arrange that, you know, to do foraging and learning about indigenous cultural ways. That's on the menu. You want to go on a 1 day, 2 day canoe trip on one of the rivers that go by us, we can organize that with some skilled expert leaders. We don't bring it all in-house. We don't hire all these people and have them work for us. These are people who are entrepreneurs by spirit, and we're just there to help them match up with our clients. And the clients can then pick from a very extensive list of outdoor experiences, you know, whether It's painting or fishing or writing or kayaking, you know, the list goes on and on and on. And like I said, a bunch of it's free, it comes with it, but the more intense stuff, you know, you want to go on an all-terrain vehicle ride and go into the back, you know, we'll get a leader, and we got the vehicles, and they'll lead you on the way and bring you back there. So that's what we're Airbnb, plus with this opportunity for all these local entrepreneurs who have amazing knowledge.
Cool stuff.
And then there's the researchers too, right? That you can work with. You want to work with researchers, we'll arrange that as well. So that's our model. That's our model. It's smaller, it's more intense, and our focus is really families, because if you send your kid to camp and the kid comes home from camp, it's like, how was camp? Good. You have that 5-minute conversation around the table over dinner, and then it's all gone. It's all forgotten, and you move on with life, right? The family goes to camp, they come home, they talk about it for days. Then you reach out to them and say, hey, we got this thing coming up, a webinar or a seminar or a half-day event. It's free. Why don't you come on up for this half-day event? And keep them coming back, and keep them coming back, and keep them coming back. And they get to know the other services in the area, the other opportunities in the area. And you know, it's like every kid that learned how to fish from a grandparent or an uncle or an aunt. You bring them along. It's not some one and done thing, you know. It's not, you know, here's a fishing rod, here's how to cast. Good luck, kid. You know, it's not. It's you gotta mentor. You gotta give that follow-up experiences.
Absolutely, 100%. Couldn't agree more. Well, listen, I do look forward to some pictures. I do look forward to some more stories, and eventually, as a group, CFN will have to make a point of making it up there to the research center, if for no other reason, just to give a little bit of a pump of the tires, but also to experience what you have been hard at work building, and truly an accomplishment. And I'm so glad that we didn't lose any trucks in the lake. That
oh my goodness, can you imagine?
Well, we didn't need that. With you not being here, unfortunately, there was a big void when it came to certain questions, and a lot of folks certainly are keeping up to date with everything that's going on with our fisheries. Some good, some bad. I saw something that would have tweaked your interest. We talk about seals and the effects that they're having on fish populations, especially on the West Coast. You had made a mention about the seals going upriver now to where the salmon are, and they used to be safe in these rivers, but not anymore. There was a video that got shared of a good size coho that unfortunately got apprehended by a seal in probably no more than 3 feet of water in a river. Not somewhere you would expect a seal to be, but let's face it, wherever there's food, they're going to be. So it brought my attention to that, because I know we've talked about that at great length, but also Mike's asking a question, and this was something that was brought forth to the group, and I don't believe you were here. There's a video circulating about, and I'd like to say it's clickbait, but the more people have heard about it, the more we need to find out the truth. At the end of the day, Mike is saying, are you familiar with the study that states we shouldn't be eating freshwater fish anymore due to the forever chemicals? It's a popular video. It's more clickbait, the one that I saw. I don't know about the one that Mike's talking about. But have you heard anything about this, or is it just like everything else? It's a public service announcement, make sure you keep everything at moderation.
Look, lead, there's no moderating in consumption of lead, right? Any lead is dangerous. We know that now. And, it gets into your system and it can cause damage for life. It doesn't come out. It's like forever chemicals like PFAS. It gets in. These chemicals don't break down. They don't break down. They stay, and so they can have effects. There was a scare a couple of years ago about not eating smelt in the west end of Lake Superior. The U.S. government, one of the states there, said don't eat the smelt at all. A little smelt, right? These things don't live long, but they found levels of PFAS chemicals in them that were problematic.
Really?
And they put out a fish consumption advisory: do not eat the smelt in the west end of Lake Superior. They revised that since then, but I can tell you, we have an agreement with the United States to identify chemicals of mutual concern, and we've identified 6 PFAS chemicals of mutual concern, which means we have to take action to sort of mitigate their being introduced into the environment. There's over 16,000 of these various iterations of PFAS being produced and used in manufacturing. And everything, everything we use, there, a lot of things we're using has PFAS chemicals. And so this is the next generation. This is lead of the century, right? This is the lead of this century. Lead, in the 20th century, we got a grip on it. You're still getting your grip on it with water pipes in cities, older parts of cities. The 21st century now, we're dealing with PFAS chemicals and microplastics, but PFAS chemicals is the new lead. And there's rightfully so. People should be concerned. It's in everything. It's everywhere. They're just starting to look at, okay, how do we? The problem right now, what we're talking about, is that in industry that uses PFAS chemicals in their industrial processes, they discharge their wastewater into the same wastewater pipes our wastewater goes into, and it all goes to the same wastewater treatment facilities, and before it's released back into the environment. So the industry is saying, hey, we're not breaking any rules by releasing this. So it's up to the municipalities that run these wastewater treatment facilities to get the PFAS out of the wastewater. Now, there's some bills now being talked about in the United States and different states around the Great Lakes, where they're saying, hey, we have to nip this in the bud at the source. So if you're an industry and you're using PFAS chemicals to make your product, you need to remove the PFAS chemical from your wastewater before that wastewater is released into the public sewage treatment network. Mm-hmm. And you put the responsibility on the offender, right? Not on the not they get off free, and then the public has to figure out what to do with this. Mm-hmm. There's some science that is showing that you can. They're developing some systems. I don't think anything's been really scaled up for industrial use of removing PFAS chemicals, but there are ways of doing it that they're finding out. But we're going to have to get on this. We're going to need to get on, cleaning our drinking water, cleaning our wastewater, and getting, especially on top of the industries that are using these chemicals in their processes, in their manufacturing, to stop doing that, like, or at least not dispose of it just willy-nilly in their wastewater. And there's a lot of room for improvement. It doesn't mean you can't drink the water in Lake Ontario because it's in the water, in any of the Great Lakes. Does it mean you can't eat the fish that live in the Great Lakes? We're not there yet. So, there's some people who are going to say we're there. Maybe they have more knowledge than everyone else, but
There's a lot of town criers out there. There's a lot of people, let's face it, that wave the flag whenever anything happens. And again, it creates propaganda, whether it's positive, negative. At the end of the day, it's for you to do the research. But Mike, it's a great question you asked. It's something that we talked about with Jay briefly. The video that I saw, Jay was able to mention that it was a clickbait style video, but there have been others that have been surfacing, and we have known about microplastics now for a little bit, how that is starting to affect, our lakes, and of course the food tree, if you will. So yeah, it's like anything else. Moderation is the key. Is there any way you can pick a fish that doesn't have it in it? I don't believe there is. We certainly don't have the science yet to suggest that we can pick apart a fish and be positive what it has in it. We're certainly not doing it for table fare or any of the fish that you see sold in the grocery stores. I'm sure there are all kinds of requirements that they must follow, but at the end of the day, are they screening for lead? Are they screening for mercury? I don't believe they are. So it's all about moderation, I would say, is the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of chemicals we know that we screen for, and the fish is tested for before it can be sold. Commercially harvested fish, they test for lead, they test for mercury, they test for a bunch of things, and if you hit certain levels that are unacceptable, it can't be sold. And if you get caught selling it, good chance you're going to go to jail. Right? The Canadian Food Inspection Agency does this, and we make sure that any fish we're catching on our side of the border is safe to sell, safe to consume, and the U.S. in turn does the same, right? But we're also seeing a lot of the people who are doing the testing, and the facilities that are doing the testing, and the scientists that are doing the research. A lot of them have been laid off in the last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Like 50%, 75%. Those scientists are coming to Canada. We're hiring them. These are fantastic minds, fantastic scientists in the middle of their research. A lot of them have shifted to Canada and looking for funding to continue their research, and we're making that possible where we can up here. Cool. So it's at that part's a little bit troubling for sure, that we've seen this downsizing in research, but you see that in the United States too, right, with their health department, right, and around vaccines, around all sorts of things like that, right, and you see problems. So we gotta get this sorted out. Absolutely. I remember when DDT, right? We used DDT for bed bugs, and it was another forever chemical, and we stopped it. It's not stopped everywhere in the world. They still use it in places controlling bed bugs and things, but we don't use it, and it's not in our system, and the eagle population is rebounded, and
so there's hope.
We'll get there. PFAS. No one's saying PFAS is not a problem. Yeah. No one. Companies are being fined for releasing it in large amounts. Especially the ones that are on the list of their chemicals of concern, identified as chemicals of concern. They're getting fines. So the industry knows they have to find solutions. And you look at how much Teflon products. Who's buying Teflon products anymore? You see that. You don't see them. People are going to enamel. People are going to iron. but people going to stainless. But we're all moving away from Teflon, and
Not
that's just
fast enough, because anybody that uses lubricants understands that there's a lot of Teflon lubricants still out there, surprisingly enough. But no, you're right, and there are certain we get smart over time. You know, when we realize that there's an issue, we eventually change it. It might take a while. It might cost us a lot of money, and it might be difficult to make that decision. But eventually, we hope that we all get it right. Before we let you go, with as busy as you are, what have you got going for this week? Is there anything that you wanted to share about some of the escapades that you have planned for this week?
So one of the things with thanks Yamaha Stay Outdoors for the grant, we have been busy just in the Ottawa area here, Ottawa-Gatineau area, identifying, using a grid that we've established around usability and accessibility. So we're looking at every shore fishing location, every kayak canoe launch opportunity, and every boat launch in the Ottawa-Gatineau area within city limits. And the city limits of Ottawa and Gatineau are pretty huge. And we're going in and applying this very comprehensive checklist to these sites and saying, okay, can you fish here? Is it safe to fish here? What are the path like to get to the shore? You know, where can you stand? Do you have to be a billy goat? Can you get there with your family? Is there a wheelchair going to be able to get down there? And then on and on and on. Same with the kayak canoe launches. Same with the boat launches. You know, what kind of boat launch? Is there a dock? Is it a wheelchair accessible dock? On and on and on. And we're checking this. This has never been done before. A comprehensive, and we're using Google Earth to create this map, this bluefish usability and accessibility map for the area. And we'll be publishing this in the next 2 or 3 weeks. You know, I know we're getting into August soon, and but you know, I get my students in June, so and this will be around. We'll update this, but this is the first really comprehensive. Where are the shore fishing? And then last week I read in the paper in Ottawa here. I'm reading using my talking computer, so I'm listening. But an article about all the fishing, all the swimming areas they've introduced over the last year in around Ottawa, on the rivers, the canal, the lakes, you know, in around Ottawa, all these new swimming areas. And you know, whenever they make a swimming area, there's a no fishing sign going up, right? So I'm thinking, man, we gotta get on the map with this, because the more as the people get hot and they look in places to cool down, the Ottawa is doing this, you know. Where can you go for a swim? Where can you stick your toes in the water? Where can you just get into the water without paying, you know, going into a pool? Just get out there and have a swim. And they're popping up all around the city, but these are all been no swimming or no fishing zones. So as soon as you put a swimming area, it's a no fishing zone. So we've got to get on the map with this stuff and make sure we don't lose the battle. I know, like the Toronto urban ambassadors, angling ambassadors, they've been lobbying and advocating in Toronto for shore fishing. And, you know, last week they had a big shore fishing celebration in Toronto. You know, my goodness, that's fantastic. And they've been doing this, pushing back on the, swimming, no fishing crowd. And I think we've been sliding here. And I wonder how many other communities across Canada where this is sliding, where we're seeing more and more no fishing signs go up, you know, swimming signs going up, and just, you know, renovating shorelines and making them more public, but less fishable. Fewer places where you can launch a canoe or a kayak, fewer places where you can just fish from shore, fewer places where you can put a boat in and get a wheelchair up on the dock and get into your boat, you know, all these types of things. You know, this is so important. So we're doing this here. We're also doing it up around the center. We've got our own system up there we're working on as well. Use, again, Google Maps and Google Earth and then other maps. But up there, I'll tell you, you look at the maps around our center, and there's just a road and it just ends, not even near us. And that's it. There's no roads. According to all the maps we found, there's no roads up anywhere. But if you go up there, there's logging roads going everywhere and trails going everywhere. So we're creating our maps. We're creating maps, and we'll be sharing some of that, and we'll be keeping some of that exclusive to people who visit the center, and because those are the fishing spots of the local our local heroes up there, and that's their hard-earned sort of territory. So it's not for us to give away, but definitely we need to know where our guests are going in case something happens, and how to find them again. That's the challenge, right? You don't want to, it's good to be able to communicate. We can communicate now with satellites, and so keeping people safe, and more exploration with GPS, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Cool stuff. Well, as I said, it's been a while since we've been able to chat with you. It's amazing. Like, I don't know how we're going to get back to the half-hour regiment that we had with you folks.
Sorry.
You have so much to say, and there's so much to discuss, and we have questions galore. So we will do our best to try and keep this show at the 2-hour mark, but it's going to be tough because there's just so much to share. And with Lawrence being gone for 3 weeks, we want to welcome you back, but we didn't have enough time to talk to you, so we look forward to revisiting with you next Monday for even more stuff, more stories, and of course a few questions to be answered as well, pal.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. And happy to be back, man. Happy to be back and sharing and hear Big Jim, and looking forward to Jason and all the questions, you guys, all the questions and comments.
Awesome stuff, Lawrence, as always, dude. Thanks so much for your time. Look forward to next Monday, and good luck with whatever honey truck, tow truck, or any other truck for that matter comes down the gravel road and doesn't end up in the drink. We look forward to hearing the story of the almost happened. But yeah, keep our fingers crossed that knock on wood. You take care, pal. Have yourself a great week. We got Jay Barnucz coming up right after this.
Max Scent is better because of its scent dispersion. It's that simple. It's a type of material that allows the chemicals we put in there to ooze out quicker, and it creates a larger scent field faster. That brings fish to the bait. And then, the perfect lure is always, they see it, they come close, they smell it. Since fish do not have arms, they test things with their mouths. So he puts it in his mouth, done. The scent and flavor just got him. FluxGill, its unique thing is that it has the holes in it, right? And it creates surface area that's way more than if that was a non-perforated bait. Why is that important? Surface area is important because the more water contacts that bait, the more scent is getting into the water and quicker. And that's why that amount of surface area will get you fish when it's tougher, but it'll also catch you more fish when it's not tough.
Jay Dog's in the house. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, buddy. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Busy day out on the shorelines, on the waterways.
Yeah, we're finishing up. Like, we're almost finishing up our summer sampling, dude. Like, it's almost August, right?
Think about that for a second, Jay. Think about that. We're
Crazy.
almost in August. Like, literally, we were talking about ice coming off the lakes. Water temperatures. It's taking forever for the air to warm up. Are we going to have a normal spring? Why is it such a long? Like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And Jim talks about it all the time. It gets worse as you get older in terms of the time flying by.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I've been laughing about people complaining about the heat. I'm like, bring it on. In 6 months. And I love the cold too. In 6 months, it's going to be minus 20 again, hopefully. Right. And it's like, today, the Humidex was, so I actually, to keep everybody honest on the job site, I'll tell everyone this. I have a little meter that a company called Kestrel makes, and it's a wind meter. And in it, I can look at the wind speed, average and max, and then I can look at the humidity, and it gives me also the Humidex, and which is great because I do find that a lot of people don't manage heat well, and dude, so this time of year, I get up in the morning I'm up at about 5 a.m. almost every day, and I guzzle 24 ounces of water. I have a big like Tervis cup, like a big Berkeley Gulp Tervis cup, and I sit there in the kitchen, looking out the window at the street lights, and I guzzle 24 ounces of water before I do anything else in the morning. I'll get up. I'll be honest. Little TMI. Get up, take a leak, and while my coffee's brewing, I'm guzzling 24 ounces of water before I leave the house. And ever since I started tracking my water, like I kind of know like each of my water bottles at work, like how many ounces it is. And I just kind of keep track of, did I have one today? Did I have two today? And I'm drinking, like today I drank 32 ounces of water on top of the 24 I drank this morning. And I find that is clutch. That is the only thing that keeps me like working in the heat, is just drinking. Like I have sunscreen, I wear a hat, I wear like, I've given up on t-shirts. Like I like wearing t-shirts, but when I'm out working, like when I know I'm going to be in the sun all day, I wear like long sleeve sun shirts because I'm wet all day anyways. I'm not hot in it, man. I'm carrying wet nets and wet barrels, and I'm soaking wet all day. So you're cool. But dude, water is so clutch, and I find that so many people don't drink enough water. I can't stress it enough. When you're out in the outdoors and it's hot out, just drink water and you will feel fine. I know when I'm kayak fishing, like Trevor and I, there's days where it's 35, 40 degrees with the Humidex, and we're in the middle of Lake Erie and it's hot and it's calm and there's no wind. And I have a 64-ounce water jug that I fill, and then when I get back to the dock, I keep a 32-ouncer for the drive home, and I will drink both in a day of kayak fishing, no problem. So it's
interesting not to cut you off. When Cooper was on here a couple weeks back, he had mentioned, because I asked him, I said, in those hot days, and I know he's a smaller lad, well, you are a smaller lad now too, but for us bigger people, like 32 ounces of water, like I literally will sweat that out in the blink of an eye. But having said that, I'm always curious, like how do people combat that heat? How do they combat their muscles starting to cramp? Because it was an issue when I was playing ball. I swear teams used to coach their teams around the fact that they knew I was going to start cramping by the fourth quarter. So they had me running all over the field leading up to that. But anyway, I digress. But he mentioned about the importance of drinking water. You want to suppress the heat. You want your body to be able to adapt a lot better. You got to feed it water. And he was emphatic about that.
Yeah, and I remember him saying that, and I can't agree more. This time last year, we were in Georgia for the high school championship, right? And the average temperature, this week last year, we were down in Georgia.
That's right.
And the average temperature every day, like we didn't see a day where the temperature was under 30 degrees Celsius, the bare temperature. Like every day it was 33, 34. The Humidex was up over 40 every day. Like at 6 in the morning, actually at 5 in the morning when I was dropping the boys off at the dock, it was already 26 degrees and the humidity was around 75% at 6 o'clock, 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning. It's wild. And you know what's funny? Speaking of water, like even when I go steelheading in cold weather, I'm not talking like -10, but like +2, that sort of classic fall weather, a little bit of snow falling. I still bring, like I have like a 20-ounce water bottle that I bring, and I find now I do a lot of walking, I do a lot of hiking in the bush, and I find that saves my ass, dude. I don't know how I didn't drink water for all the dude. I would drink I'd guzzle 2 large coffees and then go fish for 10 hours in the bush. And I'd come out feeling like total crap. Like my muscles would cramp more after steelheading than like at work in the heat. And it's all water consumption. And it's hard to drink water when you're out when it's cold out. But I find ice fishing too, man. You gotta drink water, and we don't do it enough. And then especially when you're hauling sleds and you're doing it all manual, it's huge. And I can't stress it enough that. And just drinking 2 liters, which is 64 ounces, by the way, that's 2 liters of water. That's just enough. That's just enough water. You got to drink like double that if you're in the heat. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Steph's just sharing last year's adventures. And I have to say, I am like Steve. You know, I should drink a lot more than I do. Water, that is. And I don't. And I have to say, it's for no other reason. I just don't like it. Water to me, just it's tasteless. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know when I'm hot, when I'm thirsty, anything will do, and I'll guzzle water like I do anything else. But I don't know. I got to get better at it. So I appreciate the advice. I appreciate the encouragement, because we all need to drink more water. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. I'm gonna share something before I forget. I'm gonna share a couple things that we can talk about other stuff, because I'll forget if I don't do this.
Okay.
I'm gonna share. Let me see. Is that it? I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so everyone can see me now, and then I'm gonna go over here. Can you see that, Scotty?
I can. Yeah.
So this is Stephanie's post. Now, if you're not friends with Stephanie on Facebook, you won't see it, but I want to put this out there. So we all know that Trevor and his teammates are going to Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And they're doing a fundraiser. And what they're doing is, dude, they're selling pepperettes.
Yes.
These Helenda's pepperettes. Anthony Dubé has set this up as a fundraiser. You don't have to buy them off me, but any of the team members will start advertising this stuff. So check out Trevor's Facebook, check out, and I'm going to share some of these images to my Facebook page. If you're interested in ordering, all the money goes to covering the team's expenses to Zimbabwe. For each angler to go, it's around 3,500 Canadian. So this is just one of their fundraisers. So I'm gonna share this to my Facebook tonight, and guys, stay tuned. And if anybody wants to order, and they're not going till like December, but we're gonna start this now so that hopefully we can connect with people once we sell some of this stuff. So I wanted to share that with you, dude, and with the CFN, and we'll talk more about fundraisers as we get there, but. This is just one. All the kids are doing it. They're all selling pepperettes. Pam Isaac, Nolan Isaac's mom, has kind of been leading the charge and really rallying the troops. So thanks, Pam, for doing a lot of that work behind the scenes. But I'm going to start sharing some of these pepperettes, and a couple of friends have already reached out. They want to buy some, so I'll set that up for everyone.
Well,
so,
please do, because we've got a couple of retreats coming up, and we always need snacks. And what better way than to provide snacks that one we like and we know is going to a good cause.
Dude, who doesn't like dried meat?
Oh,
let's be honest. Like,
buddy, abso-friggin-lutely. Tammy, great suggestion. How you doing, Aaron? Nice to have you along.
Yeah.
It's a light. Great. Yeah, absolutely. We have they're electrolytes, so small little packets.
Yeah.
All you have to do is put that in a water bottle. That I think that's the proper portion.
Yep.
You put this little packet in a regular water bottle, and I will say it immediately. You feel a difference almost immediately. So if you
even those little squirt bottles, like they're like
even
flavors,
those,
drops. Those I like those too. I used to drink a lot more Gatorade and stuff. I don't drink that as much anymore. I still do sometimes, but we actually have a container on our kitchen counter of like powdered electrolytes that. After a long day on the water, I'll get home and make myself drink a good 16 or 20 ounces of electrolyte water. Like I do, it does help. I don't like drinking it that much, but on the really tough days, I definitely get it in me for sure. So,
Richard, I don't know if you're pulling my leg. Yes, we do drink a lot of water as well.
What color is that water at Horwood? Is it like golden colored?
It's absolutely delicious. In fact, it's very close to what Steve is describing here with Michelob Ultra, which reminds me, I've got to make sure I get a pack of that for our retreat.
Absolutely.
George is bringing up a concern. I never even thought of this. nuts. Like thank you, George, for
Yeah,
thinking.
it's true. This is why we need more biologists in the world to remind us of these types of things, to protect us from the excessive gametes, fish gametes in the water. We'll use proper terminology, right, George?
Yeah, we don't have to worry about forever chemicals. We have to worry about anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
What I didn't want to cut you off. If you have more,
let's go, man.
Okay.
You know what? Let me do one more
Yep.
thing. Shit, where did I put my phone? I gotta grab my phone. One sec.
Absolutely, Mike. You're 100%. They do all kinds of crazy things in the water, so we have to be wary. I
got a message today from our friend Cody Colfax, and if anyone's listening, so he's okay. So Cody is the organizer of the Erie Junior Bassmasters, which Trevor's a member of, and he organizes these big events. And I shared some of them last week when I was on, or 2 weeks ago. And like, he doesn't just do this for Erie. He has juniors and high schoolers come from all other clubs. And as a Bass Nation member, these young anglers can fish any of the events that they want as long as they're a Bass Nation member. So he's getting members from Mississauga, Border City, Petawawa, and he want me to send this out. So let's see. If I'm on tonight, he's looking for some boat captains from teams. He needs teams for captains for teams from Petawawa and Border City for the qualifier this year. So the high school qualifier and junior qualifier is taking place in Turkey Point. It's the weekend. I'm going to check that out. It's actually coming up in a month. It is on the weekend of August 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So the Saturday, Sunday, 22nd, 23rd. He needs boat captains. These teams are coming from Petawawa and from Border City, which is Windsor, and he needs boat captains to take out these kids on the Inner Bay of Long Point and Lake Erie. So if anyone's who's listening, and Cody, put up if you put up a post on Facebook asking, and I think I already shared it to the Erie Bassmasters page, but I'll share this on CFN. I'll do this tonight again, and I'll also share it this week. So he's looking for captains because these kids are coming from these faraway places. It's hard to get captains. Like, the most captains are volunteers. Some of them are parents, but a lot of them are volunteers. So it'd be nice to have local captains as well. It's nice to have local knowledge for the kids when they go out, because they're coming from Petawawa and from Windsor. They don't fish Erie. They don't fish the Inner Bay of Long Point. So local captains help, or at least people who have knowledge of those water bodies. So over the next couple of weeks, I'll keep pumping this information on my segment, Scotty, and I know that you guys will help Cody, because Cody's, dude, you've run events before. You know exactly what Cody's going through, trying to find enough boats, enough participants to just make sure everyone gets out fishing, and this is the right thing to do. So I'm going to make sure that we help Cody find some captains for these kids that are coming from far away. They're going to be staying in Turkey Point area. They're coming to participate. We got to get them on the water, and it's only a month away, but we'll figure it out.
Absolutely. Cody, whatever we can do to help along, we will certainly do that. As I said, there's nothing more important in the eyes of CFN than getting the next generation of anglers not only hooked on this sport, but doing well, like achieving and furthering their knowledge. And as I said, we have seen it on the Elite Series, how Canadians are taking the Elite Series at least at one time by storm. I know the Johnsons certainly are. But we have a lot of great talent up here in the country of Canada, and we want to see it on full display. So by all means, Cody, any way we can help you, we will certainly do so. Look at Steph. What a salesperson. She's awesome.
Dude, she's on fire. This is what she does. I'm telling you, man, as much as those two kids are at each other, they sure look after each other, man. It's really nice to see the two of them look out for each other all the time. And this is what she likes to do. She wants to help people. This is what she does. So this is awesome. So awesome stuff. You are most welcome, Cody. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about last week, unfortunately we missed you, was I
iCast. For anybody who didn't realize, iCast happened a week ago. And I wanted to go through some of the stuff with Jay, just to go over, some of the new stuff, the winners, anything in between. I found this to be very interesting. The best of show winner was a rod and reel combo that was very popular at one point, I think back in the 90s. You can certainly help me out, but the Rhino rods were very popular in the 90s.
Yep.
I believe Zebco makes these rods and reels, but they have a combo. And if you haven't seen the video, he hooks up to a 15-pound weight and lifts it straight up in the air with this rod, which is bent right over. And it is, I would like to say, this is the new ugly stick. Would that be accurate in your eyes?
Well,
Jay?
it's funny. So it's not the new ugly stick. What I'd say is that, so, you have ugly stick made by Shakespeare, then you have Rhino. And so those have been, those two rods have been the quintessential unbreakable rod. Yeah. But we haven't heard from Rhino for, like, quote me if I'm wrong, if anyone's in the chat, but like, it's literally, I haven't seen a Rhino advertisement in a decade or more.
It's been over a decade.
But I haven't seen it. I remember as a kid, the Rhino rod, I remember the commercials being on. And so it's just kind of nice that, Rhino's come back out with a nice rod and reel combo. And I think what's important is that with like back in the day, this was a thing. I think what Rhino's trying to do, and Ugly Stick's done a good job of this already, is you have, so these rods, these unbreakable rods, now they are breakable, but man, it's hard to break them. So I know some people say, oh, I broke an Ugly Stick. I'm like, okay, good for you. Good for you. The average person's not going to break an Ugly Stick. But they're not the nicest rods to hold. They're a little beefy, they're a little heavy, but you're paying for that unbreakable product. But the reality is that now you're seeing Ugly Stick and now Rhino come out with these, they're just nicer rods. Yeah. They're way nicer. Like, you have a couple of Elite Series pros using Ugly Sticks in the Elites. Like, and so these rods, now some of these rods are a little more graphite, like there's a little more graphite in them. So they're not as unbreakable as some models, but damn, dude, you're getting these really durable rods. And I think that combos like this are great. If anyone is out there who's doing any kind of, like, if you want a rod and reel for your car or your truck, or you're doing any kind of like camping, like canoe camping, backcountry kind of camping, this is the stuff that you want. I'm telling you, like, I use Ugly Sticks when I go backcountry camping. Like, my favorite trolling rod is like a 6.5 foot, 7 foot, 2-piece Ugly Stick for brook trout trolling. Because I can strap that thing to a canoe and I can't break it. Right. So these combos, and guys, check them out. If you're looking for a durable rod that you can literally just throw into the trunk of your car, and it can take the attack of a screen door. Screen door attacks are a real thing. Okay. Car door attacks happen too. I remember when I was 16, I broke I owned this rod called a Berkeley Bionics that I saved my money for picking tobacco, and my trunk of my car bit it in half, and I was pissed off at the world. Like, I threw the rod into Lake Erie, man. I was so mad when I broke that Berkeley Bionics rod that I love. I can still picture the split grip and all this. Oh man. And if I would have had an Ugly Stick,
started smoking right after that.
Oh man, I was so mad. Yeah, it might have driven me to smoking nicotine and caffeine. The broken rod might have driven. If I would have had an Ugly Stick, I probably would have not happened. So
that's awesome.
And so Stephanie just had in there. So Ugly Stick, when the kids were little, dude, I had a whole arsenal of Ugly Sticks. So I would take other kids fishing, and actually the Ugly Sticks made a half decent push button reel. Like, push buttons, they kind of get tangled easy and stuff.
Yeah.
They were half decent, but I would actually go out. I started buying Pfluger made little push button reels that really casted nice. And I would put those on Ugly Sticks. And that was like up until the kids were probably 10 or 12. That's what I think Trevor got his first baitcaster when he was probably about 12 or 10 years old. But until he was 10, it was ugly sticks. And Stephanie, well, she'll still use an ugly stick, but she has these fancy Abu ones now that the Abu reps gifted her. They're beautiful. They're like I don't know. Stephanie, chime into the chat. They're green. They're like they're like a blue, like a turquoise blue. They're really, really fancy rods that she has now. They're nicer rods than some of my rods. I'm not gonna lie. When the Abu guys gave her these new rods, I'm like, oh good Lord. Because they were the same. I forget. I think they were the same color as like Taylor Swift liked at the time or something. And it was this whole story Stephanie has. But she moved up. She moved up to those rods, but she fished with ugly sticks, man. And they had the right colors. They had green and pink and red. And so those are so important for kids. Buy the rod they want, and they're going to use it, and they're going to love it, and they're going to enjoy fishing. And as parents, the rod won't break because kids are hard on their rods, man. So, yeah, Matt Roberts. Thanks, Steve. Matt Roberts is fishing with ugly sticks all the time. He has an ugly stick rack boat. In fact, he's got the wraparound glasses that Trevor wears the same pair. They're kind of dumb, but hey, they sell. So baby blue, that's it.
Awesome.
Stephanie loves her baby blue.
Beautiful stuff.
And she's got matching spinning and bait casting, baby blue. Not just the rods, the reels are also the same color as the rod do. We have to accessorize, Scotty. We have to have matching everything, right?
It sounds like I'm about to get schooled.
Dude, I'm telling you, you don't know what you're missing out. You don't know what you're missing out.
I'm about to get educated. So
Nice.
with that, obviously, we spent a lot of time on this combo, but obviously,
Sorry, man. Yeah. Rhino.
But again, if you're looking for something that's reasonably priced and you know isn't going to break, this is not such a bad idea. But congratulations to them for winning top show prize. And I thought the Bubba was something that couldn't be improved. How wrong I was. This Pro Series Gen 2 that's come out that's slimmer. It has a longer battery life. It seems to be more contoured to to holding. It's not a bulky fillet knife like the last one. And I'm not when I say bulky, it depends on if you got large hands. If you got large hands, it doesn't matter. But for me and the small pudgy little fingers, this Gen 2, I'm really looking forward to picking that up. Sounds awesome. Did you want to talk about the Rapala giant lure, the bald eagle? That's an interesting looking.
Dude, I find that category is funny because it's a novelty lure, right? So
right.
I don't know what the tariffs are on that one, so just skip that one. Keep it.
Rapala's come out with a high capacity line remover. I didn't realize that this was such a big thing, Jay. Removing line, like I thought you just traditionally just grab it by your hands and rip it off, but there's now a tool for this, and obviously it makes it a lot quicker and easier to get rid of the old line.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like I've been using, and what's kind of funny about this is, if full disclaimer, Berkeley's been making line removers for years, and they were like the only one on the market doing it, to be honest. And so everyone I know had a Berkeley line stripper, and there was a couple different models, and there's an original one that actually used to have two little barrels that rub together, and the top of the one barrel, you could use it as a hook sharpener too. So when you spun it, the little barrel would turn. Like, this is tiny, man, like the size of the top of a pencil lead, right?
Yeah. Or
a pencil eraser. And it would actually, you could sharpen hooks. Like, it only really sharpened like big hooks. Like, I'm talking like musky or saltwater hooks. Anything smaller, it would eat the hook alive. But you could use it as a line stripper.
Interesting.
And so it's cool that Rapala's came out with a line stripper. And if anyone watches the videos, like, honestly, like, so I'll sit there and I'll take my hand and I'll sit there and put the hockey game on. I'll just wrap the line off my hand. Or actually what I'll do is I'll pull it. I've actually done this at tournaments. I've laid all the rods on a bed in a motel room, and I pointed let's say I'm stripping the line off 3 rods. I'm putting the rods at me, and I'm pulling all 3 rods at the same time. Just a big mess of line at my feet, and then I throw it in the wastebasket.
Wow.
These line strippers are great. They have a little tool on them where once you strip it, you can release it so it pops the big, like the little, that red part pops open and it pulls the line off, and you can just throw it in the wastebasket or recycling. So it's great, man. It's if you're changing line, they're pretty slick, I got to admit. And some people are thinking like, I don't need to do that, but I know a lot of people that need a good line stripper.
Yeah,
so.
No, absolutely. I was taken back too because I didn't realize it was a thing. It just creates a bird's nest, which I'm really good at regardless. I don't need a tool for that, but awesome to see that it's, you know, Rapala's being innovative in their ideas, and obviously this has a purpose.
Yeah.
I was a little interested about this turtle box. Again, I'm not one to know everything about speakers, but I do like my music. And from what I understand, although it don't look like much, apparently these things pack quite a punch. These speakers. So interesting idea to see that. I have to say, I am a big fan of Busby. I do really like Busby. What I don't like is how friggin' expensive some of their stuff is. They make great products, don't get me wrong, but they're dear. This is an interesting idea that they came up with, which a lot of us can appreciate, the magnetic launch pad. So you can put hooks, jigs, all kinds of stuff on there that you're not going to lose. You don't have to worry about falling down into the water, onto the, you know, into the cleats of the boat, anywhere. But needless to say, Busby has come up with some great storage packages and ideas, and this is just yet another one. But
one thing about like some of the new tackle organizers, like, you know, I'm not too familiar with Busby, but I use Plano a lot. They're a little cheaper than Busby. It depends on what you're buying. It depends on which unit you're buying, Scotty. So like, I'm gonna say like, so Plano still makes like, and Busby doesn't make these, but Plano still makes like basic, the clear plastic boxes that are, you know, honestly, if you're just going to organize lures and you're going to, basically just organize your lures. I don't think you need, especially hard baits, like if you're trolling hard baits for walleye or whatever, I don't think you need to get some of those like technique specific boxes. But some of the boxes now for organizing like your terminal tackle and stuff, they're kind of worth the money. Like until you've tried it, I really recommend don't knock it till you try it, because organizing like drop shot weights, organizing your jig heads by size and by color, and what happens is, especially when you're organizing weights and also hooks, like especially when you're fishing like smaller hook sizes, like small drop shot hooks, the old tackle boxes, the damn hooks would mix up, right?
Yeah.
And I know that seems petty to some, but damn, I spend time and money on this stuff, and I don't want those hooks mixing.
Exactly.
So what's nice is Busby and Plano started coming out with these technique-specific boxes that allow you to organize your tackle very well. And so if you want to organize, especially for stuff like with small hooks or little small objects like drop shot weights and stuff, and you want to organize that, don't be afraid to try some of those better boxes out there. And some of those boxes also offer waterproof solutions. Now you're going up from the white plastic, the white see-through boxes, up to like these more durable boxes with better dividers. Then you take those and then you go up to a waterproof version of that second one, right? So you have 3 tiers now, kind of. But I'm telling you, especially if you're a kayaker, those waterproof boxes are lights out great, because you're going to get your boxes wet all the time. And or hell, if you have, like, let's say you don't own an expensive boat, you just have a nice little Lund with a couple bench seats and a kicker on the back and maybe a troll motor on the front, and all your stuff's out in the open all the time. Those waterproof boxes are going to keep things from rusting all the time. So don't frown on Busby and Plano for making expensive things, because those waterproof boxes of theirs work great. The magnetic stager, if anyone hasn't, this is what they're taking from fly fishing, and you can have a magnetic patch on your vest to hold flies. So this is taking that onto a new step where I can organize my tackle by basically putting things on there as a magnet or things I'm not going to use. I haven't quite thought about
how I would use something like that on my setup, but it makes sense. It makes sense for sure to try that for sure.
100%. I thought it was a bit of a gimmick. Flambeau came out with those inserts that would prevent rust. I'm not sure exactly what the compound is in the plastic. And I thought it was, this is just a novelty. This is just, them trying to get you to buy product. I have to admit, I'm so glad that that's what I have, because I have some gear that I've been neglecting. And when I go to it, especially, in the next couple of weeks, I'm getting ready to go to Horwood. I'm always relieved to know that rust has not started to, show up in any of the baits. Those Flambeau boxes, I have to give a shout out to Flambeau. Great stuff. Absolutely great stuff.
So have you seen the little cutout ones that you could get?
No.
Hold on. Cut out waterproof. See if I can find it. So they make these little, oh my gosh, where is it? So Flambeau makes, here they are. So you can cheat. Let me explain this. All right, I'm gonna share my screen again. Dude, I'm not on my magic. I'm not at home with all my gear, so I'm doing this like I'm winging.
You wouldn't know. Dude, you wouldn't know. Honestly.
Okay, so can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the inserts that go into the plano boxes. Okay, it's the material in the Z-Rust that these dividers that give it the no rust, the no rust feature for those boxes. Okay, a little tip: you take your old plano, your old white plano, and make sure there's no rust in there to start. Make sure the rust is out. If you have any rusty lures in there, take them out, change the hooks, get the rust out, wash your lures, whatever, scrub them off. Throw a few of these in your box. Just let them lay in the box. You won't get rust. I promise.
I didn't want to say that because I don't want to be sued, but you're so right. And it's those inserts. Those inserts, I don't know what the heck's in them. They call them Z-Rust. I'm glad you brought that up. It's funny you say that because I've done that in some other boxes that I have where I've just put the inserts in and
throw them in there.
They work. They work like a charm.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
They're
Mike's right. They're an H2O absorber. A lot of the material is no different than those little packs you get
from
your shoes. Yeah, those little shoes, your shoes or whatever. If those things get wet though, like if you do get water in your box, those little packages get ruined. But definitely, like if just take an old tackle box that you have, even your old pal, Grandpa's old pal, 3-drawer orange tackle box. Those inserts, you don't need to put them in the insert. Just throw them in there. Throw them in the bottom. Let them roll around. They will help. They will help keep the water and the moisture out of that box. I'm telling you. Now, if you do get water in your box, I always stress this, and I do this. Trevor and I do this every time we get home after fishing in the rain. We go down to the laundry room. We open up all of our boxes that are wet, and this time of year, the dehumidifier is just running on like repeat, right? Constantly. So, dude, it dries all of our shit out. Our rain gear is hanging up. It dries all of our tackle boxes out. I'm gone. I go to work for a few days. I'm gone during the week. I get home. All my stuff's bone dry. It's ready to rock. I just have to close it up, throw it back in the kayak, and off I go.
Yeah.
So use those. Buy those little inserts, and there's other companies that make them too. I have an older version that Plano used to have that you could buy like a little slider, and you could cut strips off it, and then I throw the strips in. I got a strip or two in every one of my hard bait boxes, and I've had them in there for a decade or more, and I don't go without them all the time.
100%. No, actually, that's great information, great tips, and folks, as I said, I can't emphasize it enough. Those Flambeau boxes made all the difference in the world for me. So good investment. We can talk about the spy pole. but I know Live Scope has been beaten to death, so
Yeah.
I'm sure we can get it. There's some of the urchin bait boxes that you're talking about from Busby that are specific to urchins. Massa came out with an interesting kayak that moves pretty quick. I'm actually surprised at the power drive.
Yeah, what's interesting is we're getting some more competition in the kayak market, right? Because I think one thing that's happening is some of the patents that were on some of the kayaks. So patents can expire over time. So some of these patents are kind of expiring. So it's opening up. This happens with a lot of stuff in the world, right? So not just fishing stuff. So you're starting to see these more competition in the kayak market. So Massa is more affordable than some of the other brands out there. I don't know. I do find that with some of the cheaper brands, you get to worry about durability. But in the end, I always tell people, like, if you aren't going to fish, I'm not saying these kayaks can't do this, but if you aren't going to fish tournaments like every weekend, you're not going to be in your kayak 3 days a week, 4 days a week for 12 weeks or 14 weeks of the summer. You just want a nice fishing kayak to get you on the water, a day a week or every other week. You don't think you have to go crazy with the purchase. And some of these other kayaks coming out right now, they're great kayaks, man. Don't turn away from them. Check them out for sure.
100%. So interesting, and as I said, they take it out on the lake that's out back, and this thing moves. It moves at a pretty good clip. Obviously, the urchin rig from G-Rat Baits, interesting for terminal tackle. Obviously, there are going to be lots of variations, as we've seen so many with the urchin baits itself. The rigging system is now going to follow, and there are going to be so many different options for rigging. It's crazy. I got to get your take. I got to ask. Did you see some of the video that's been shared about the Live Scope 2 Generation 2?
A little bit, yeah. It's impressive. It is
impressive. I will say this. It wasn't as impressive as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I know they've been playing around with the generation. People had mentioned, it's going to get to a point, Scotty, where you're going to literally be able to tell the species of fish on the Live Scope. Although this is an improvement, it's not where I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be even more off the wall and like ultra clear. This still is a step up and still worthy of the investment. The only takeaway that I have is that it is not as detailed as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we just haven't. I think we're still ironing out the wrinkles in the whole, like, the Live Scope hierarchy, right? It's like we just talked about kayaks, so we're starting to see more kayaks come in that are more modest prices. Now, what's happened with Live Scope is that this new system, what Garmin has done, is there's no black box required for this. Right. So some of this stuff, Scotty, some of the attraction for this is easier setup. They made an ice fishing version of this transducer. You've seen the guys with the Garmin setups, and all the Garmins have 20 feet of cable spooled up at the back. Mm-hmm. They have an ice fishing version that only has like a few feet of cable, if that. So the Garmin has started to make improvements to their, not just their technology, but also sort of in practice how it's used.
Yeah.
So that's good news. I do think that did I tell you about the Garmin price changes that were coming through about manufactured suggested retail prices?
You had mentioned it, but you weren't sure what the prices were. But you did mention it.
So we're going to start seeing some price changes. You're going to see as more competition comes out. Garmin is telling their dealers, and this is all good news for everyone. This is not me spreading negative things. I think we should start to see price drops. Now, the new stuff is going to stay high, and some of the older stuff is going to price drop, and you're going to see differences in that. So that's going to help anglers who want to get into that kind of setup. Yeah. So we'll see where that goes, but hopefully that happens. Yep.
100%. Definitely more affordable is the theme for everyone because things are just, getting crazy when it comes to expense. This new battery box, obviously, I thought of the kayak anglers, something that they would appreciate. It is a lot less weight and provides a heck of a punch. Corrado DC, they came out with a new reel. It's quite something, and I'm not one to use Corrados, but I will, based on what I have seen so far. This is an interesting idea. I'm actually surprised it took as long as it did to come out, but to the Arc Pro floating aerator system, hats off to Arc Pro Fishing for coming up with this. Ingenious, great idea, great concept.
I agree.
Evolution Fishing for the ice rod locker. This is a backpack. It's quite something. Again, if you are someone that loves to pack a lot of rods, this is something that you're definitely going to want to invest in. Outside of that, we have a lot of clothing, not of which that I'm
actually go back up to the Scout Sling right there, Scout Sling pack. So I have a previous version of this backpack. What's awesome about this pack is that, so you know, the backpack, you think you got to take it off, right? So what this does is that, and I use this for steelheading all the time. It's my favorite. It's the best backpack / pack I've ever bought for steelheading. All I have to do is I can wear like a backpack, and I like that because I'm usually walking through the woods, and it's easier than a vest or a sling pack, because a sling pack will go across your front, and I have to sling it behind me. With this one, I can still sling it. So I undo one shoulder strap, and I can sling it in front of me. And not only does the top open, but the side of, you see it there, the side opens up. So all my stuff is in front of me. So it's a hybrid backpack sling pack system. I'm not sure how this one has improved over the previous one, but if you are a river angler, and I'm not just talking steelhead, but I use this for smallmouth fishing. Like, I can carry my little crankbait boxes in there. The sling pack backpack hybrids are awesome and you can carry lots of stuff in them. Why I like it is I can carry like a water bottle. I can carry my lunch. Like, it's big enough that I can carry more than just hooks and flies and things like that. So they're not cheap, but the one I have is really durable. And the one I have, and I think this one has it too, in the very bottom, there's a couple zippers on the bottom right. I'm going to bet that's a rain fly. Mine has a built-in rain fly. So if it rains, I can open up the bottom little pouch, and I can pull it. Basically, I can pull a windbreaker or a fly over it, like a camping fly, and it covers my entire bag from everything getting wet in the rain. It's a great design.
That is a great design. Interesting stuff. We do have an interesting giveaway that we will talk about at some point when steelhead season starts. And I want to thank Jeremy Parker for helping us out with that. But something that we will look forward to. Chatterbaits, obviously, we know a lot about them. Obviously, they've gotten into the HD, and this is the new Evo line from Z-Man. Obviously, you saw lots of koiki or urchin style baits. Crush City has now come out with the Clio, or the CEO, I should say. Sorry, the CEO. We'll let you talk a little bit about Crush City, because that's basically what I have for winners based on their classes. But I wanted you to touch on the new stuff from Crush City.
So Crush City is with Rapala or Normark, and they won Best in Show for their new CEO, Urchin. The urchin baits have been just taking the whole fishing world by storm, man. Like, every store's got them. I'll be honest, I fished with them a little bit. I haven't really put them through their paces. I fish with a couple different brands now, because some of the ones I want to get, I can't get yet. But I'm not seeing a lot of difference in them. They're basically made of the same material. The biggest challenge with these urchin baits is how to rig it and how to fish it or cast it.
Exactly.
And basically, Trevor and I have been experimenting with them quite a bit. There's a lot of different methods. I've actually played around with I showed on a show a couple weeks ago. I was rigging up a few of them, and we've kind of worked on it a bit more since then, Trevor and I. Like we're literally we have a pile of them on our table downstairs, and we're like experimenting. Like I was out with him last night, and I can't believe, dude, I was out fishing till 10:30 last night with my son, and then I got up at 4:45 to go to work this morning. But like we were playing around with urchin baits, trying to figure out not just how to rig them, but how to fish them, because they have a lot of wind resistance. When you cast them, you have to actually play with your bait caster a bit, because those tentacles are like pushing the wind at you, right? So when you fire it, you can't throw it as far as you want to. So I like to throw it on fluorocarbon, but the fluorocarbon is difficult to cast as it is. And then you have wind resistance. So it's a whole learning process. And I love it. I'm not knocking them at all. It's kind of cool. I don't know what makes the CEO different than other ones, but I haven't really seen a lot of the plastic is the same. I haven't seen a lot of differences in the urchin baits. I know the Berkeley one is made with max scent. So it has a built-in scent. It actually has, and it's water-based, which is great. I'm not sure how the plastic of the Berkeley one works. I don't have one yet. So the other plastics are so durable. Like, dude, you can take this thing. Like, I can't even shove a nail weight into it easily to weight it. Like, having to rig it is honestly, dude, it's a little painful trying to figure them out. But I'm going to tell you that I don't see a lot of difference in the urchin baits. I think it's how you fish them. But we'll see. That the CEO has unique tentacles, right? A lot of them are just little, like, straight normal. I don't know what you want to call them, normal tentacles. The CEO has like little, yeah, their appendages are like little triangles, like long triangles, right? So it must change the fall rate. I don't know, but I'm actually excited to see. Jim talked about it, and after being frustrated with how to rig these things easily, the BKK design that I've seen, some specs on it, it's pretty smart. It basically, Jim talked about, there's a swivel. And so the thing about these things is you need to run a wire or something through it. So I've played around with, like, like crochet needles. So I can pull my line through it after tying it, because it's hard to shove anything metal through these things. It's so hard. But I'm waiting to see what their final product looks like, but it looks like a very smart design. If anyone wants to check that out, stay tuned. I think it's going to be a very, very innovative design from BKK. It's going to come out for fishing urchin baits.
Don't want to keep you any longer, because I know you got to get to bed. You got stuff to do. So we'll quickly go through this. One thing that I wanted to bring up, anybody who loves fishing with tubes, they are called a tube for a reason. This is an interesting design where they're flat. This is going to have, in my opinion, a heck of a lot more glide in the water, which I think will be interesting and unique. But a new design, dude, that I have never seen.
It's the flying lure.
Good point. That's
like the old. But I'm not knocking it. The old flying lure was a tube that you would rig backwards. They would glide under the dock, right?
You're right.
But it was a flat tube, and so they've brought that back. I think that's great. It's going to be a different look for fish. Very cool design.
Absolutely. So we'll get into the Crush City, because there's one particular bait that I want you to talk about, because I need to understand why the design. What is the reason for the design? But this is the Governor. If you love swim baits, this looks like a good go-to. Hook setup is fantastic with the swivel as well, but looks like a hardy bait. These are a must-have, especially if you're a walleye angler. The freeloader, the 3 1/4 inch is a go-to, but the fact that they're making them up to 7 1/4 inches now, holy smokes!
So I think with the 7 1/4, they're going to fish it like, well, either you can fish it on a jig minnow, like with forward facing sonar, but that tail design allows it to be a trailer, like on a slobber knocker or a chatterbait. Right. It gives it those long skinny tailed plastics give an incredible amount of action so you have a vibrating jig, right? So everyone can picture a vibrating jig, and you have that blade shaking. that shaking transfers all the way to that tail in that style of trailer. So I'm going to guess that 7 in a is going to be really. They've targeted the vibrating jig trailer market with that length of lure for sure.
Incredible stuff. Well, as I said, I for one love this bait. It is a great plastic to use, and the perch pattern is the go-to for me. This is the one that I wanted to talk about. The Avatar Shad. I understand the duck bill or the bill at the front and what that will do as a plastic. This here, please explain this design. What is this design intended to do with the plastic? Do you know, Jay, or am I catching you off guard?
So no. So what I've read is that you can see in the middle it's hollow. There's a gap, and you see how there's a hole, like right.
Yeah.
Move your arrow up a little bit, right down a bit, right in the middle. Yeah. So it's hollow there. So what's happening is, this is what I think is happening, what they're trying to do. So you have your lip in the front, right? It's going to catch the water.
Yeah.
That dorsal fin in that hinged middle will also catch the water. So what you're doing is it's hinged in the middle, so that when the water hits that top dorsal fin, it looks like a lip, but it's going the other way, right? So when the water hits that, it causes the back of the bait to pivot. So it's pivoting on that center point.
Interesting.
So the back tail will just swing back and forth. It's basically it's going to function. Can you go back to the size of them again?
Yeah.
So just zoom out there. So the size of them, it doesn't say the size, does it?
It doesn't say the size, no.
No. So it's designed to be a swim bait. I'm curious if it's going to be. I'm curious if it's going to be like a bit of a glide bait, but I don't know how big they're making them, right? So I'm not sure.
Interesting. Well, listen. You gave me a better idea of the purpose of these plastics than I had going into this. As I said, when I looked at this, I'm thinking, is this overpour? Like they're selling this, and then you pointed out the gap. So obviously, yeah, there's
they've created a hinge, so they have to give it more tail action. Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
But instead of a paddle tail, which the tail will give the action, that middle hinge with that lip on the dorsal, I'm going to call it dorsal fin, that's giving the action to that bait.
Well, I would love to see. I haven't seen any videos of these swimming, so I will have to wait to see what they look like in the water. But it caught my eye right away because I'm thinking, what on earth is this design? I've never seen this before. This is completely unique. A few other things from Crush City. I believe that this is the craw, interesting craw, the knuckle bug.
Mm-hmm.
Nice craw. And then, of course, for all those who love their pink plastic worms, the Crush City Inspector. This will be a must-have for a lot of folks. And I think that's it for Crush City. Yeah, that's it. But needless to say, some great products out there. And ICAST, although it is taking a lot of heat for not being as popular as it has been in the past, it comes out. It is still, let's be honest, it's the flagship for new product. And there is still quite a bit of a draw for everybody to go down and visit. And if you are at ICAST, you're still a somebody. So you can't be that.
I agree.
Right on, Jay. Well,
Cool,
listen,
man.
we want to get you back. We want to get you in bed. We know you got a long day ahead of you. And with all the storm conditions, high water, and everything else that you'll be dealing with, we want to make sure you're armed and ready. So we will bid you farewell.
Thanks,
Wish
buddy.
you luck. Stay safe, my friend.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Right on, pal. You take care
All
of
right.
yourself. All right. Well, that is our show. It is a longer show. As you can tell, the whole panel was back. So we were on full alert to make sure that all the time was allocated, and it was allocated very, very well. Nice to have Lawrence back, Jim and Jay, who wraps things up. But again, folks, it is going to be another busy week. Stay tuned. Tourney Tuesday, we'll be returning tomorrow with Mike and I. We will be giving out the final prizes of the Comp Break Conquer All Challenge. And Wednesday, it will be my partner, Danny Bacon, We'll be talking about the NCWO plus a whole bunch more. So stay tuned for Wednesday as well. In the meantime, have yourselves a great week. Get out fishing. Stay dry, stay cool, stay hydrated, and everything in between. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us. I should say a lot of time with us on a Monday. We truly appreciate it. All the best, folks. Dave, take us away.
Well, as much as I hate to admit it, I guess we've run out of time. So I've enjoyed it, but I'm going to do something I haven't done since season 1. Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end.